Hello. Get ready to poop, Max. Oh, are you late? Nope, you're just on time. Greetings from Pennsylvania. Hey, fellow Pennsylvanian here as well. Woke up from a nightmare and found you streaming. It was the signal. YouTube is up their notification systems. If you happen to be in slumber, we will bring back some very terrifying memories to let you know that I'm live. Do more videos reading these crazy creepypastas from a couple months ago. The ones with the plates in the sky was one of the best stories I've ever read. Oh, interesting. I don't remember that one. Oh shit, Laura O'Connor. Thank you for the huge gifters. To Mary, Ashley Marie, Jodini, Ain't Scared, Destiny Glenn, Devoured Eagle, Aramay, Crystal Longwith, Amanda Simon, Teresa H. Welcome, my friends. Thank you so much, Laura. Very, very kind. I'm glitchy. Damn, dude. It's always glitchy, isn't it? When you say glitchy, what do you mean? My YouTube ideas I told you about last time were horror games playing, exercising, singing, dancing, and doing sports rebuilds. Oh, the one with the climate change AI wants to destroy humanity. Oh, yeah. Wait, am I lagging? Cutting out? Really? Fuck, dude. That's sad. I just got here. How's it already? Oh, my mic cuts out sometimes? Can I, I wonder if I can just like mute myself real quick and just unplug and replug it in. I don't even know where to do that. Oh. Alright. Yeah, I did notice sometimes I would listen to the streams back and it was strange. It was like the beginning of the stream is like crackly on the mic. Maybe that's what you guys heard. And then, yeah, and then whenever I would or just like as the stream would go on, it would like get better or something. I don't know. Shit's weird. How much for you to read bedtime stories? Well, that's what I'm kind of going to do here in about 15 minutes. We're just letting people roll in. I guess we could also get started a little bit earlier. We don't really need like 15 minutes per se of just BS. Yeah, I guess I could cut that down to 10 minutes instead of 20. I always did 20 because I thought that was the like amount of time necessary to like allow people 2 minutes maximum. Those are some strong demands. An edible wrapper. Yeah, that'd be funny. Yeah, that's where I time. Instead of eating it before, I just like start the stream and shovel it into my mouth. Started about 200 people watching. Yeah, that sounds about good. If we get to 200 people, we'll just start early. Peter, welcome back to the Buttersock Call. Good to see you. What's happening? You now have access to bonus content. Hear you talk normally so weird, I bet, yeah. Question, what are your thoughts on everything going on with MrBeast? You know, I've kind of like kept semi-tabs on that. And it just seems like so much all at one time, you know what I mean? Like, obviously the Chris Ava Tyson stuff is not good, but it was interesting in the way that, like, as soon as like that was sort of discussed, all of the blame kind of went to like MrBeast in regards to that. But I guess the question to a degree is like, what was his knowledge of that wrongdoing? And I can't say that like you could earnestly like prove, I guess, in the sense like that he was 100% knowledgeable of how strange the activity that his friends are doing in the background would be. But it's hard to say, I guess, because, you know, you never know if they've been best friends for that fucking long. But I hate to like throw people under the bus like that, because it's like you have to get everything compiled together and wait for their response before you can kind of take it to the next step in that regard. But then it's like Tyson steps down and goes away, and it kind of just seems like everybody shifted that energy over to MrBeast, as far as like thus beginning the questioning on whether or not all of his activities on YouTube were kosher and whatnot in regards to like legality. And for me, I think the one big thing that could like actually really screw MrBeast is potentially like any sort of like, and I could be wrong with this, correct me if I'm wrong in the organization, but like FCC style, it's a marketing genius. Yeah, right. I mean, like, all the people mad at MrBeast now don't even watch his fucking videos anyways. So it's not like kids give a fuck about, you know, drama. They're gonna watch his stupid, you know, I gave $1 million to 1 million homeless people, video number 69, you know, anyways. So, but yeah, it's like, you know, as far as like that would be the big thing, I think, is like as you get more heat on you, and if there's any sort of actual legal issues, especially in the way in which you like run your operation, you know, if you start to get the government coming down on you, like asking like, how is your, you know, how do you go about, you know, your games practices and stuff like that? Yeah, give $1 to 1 million homeless people. He just like goes over a helicopter over like LA and just like drops a bunch of money from a plane, or from the helicopter. That'd be so funny. So yeah, that to me, I think could be the biggest backlash for him, honestly, is just if the government gets involved, which you know, it's hard to say whether or not they even give a shit about something like that. The mic is cutting out. God, dude. Why? Do you think it's the cords? Like, do you think because I've had this cord, it's like an XLR cord. That's sad, man. To 1 million exotic dancers, yeah. Was he the one talking to little kids? No, it was his, like, you know, friend, Ava Tyson, Chris Tyson. Sound fine. Only slightly cutting, it's kind of fine type shit. Damn, I hate that though. I might have to try to see if I can get a new XLR cord. I hope it's not anything more than that. If I have to get like a new mixer, that would really suck. But yeah, so that would be bad. And then there was like something about, there was like a really strange thing about like MrBeast hiring somebody who was on like a sexual offenders list in like Delaware or something like that, and being aware of it. But that's kind of strange. Exactly how that would like implicate him in something, I don't know. It's at the end of the day, a lot of it is just like, I guess could be kind of summed up in the sense that like MrBeast had some weird people in his circle of employees which is sometimes something that obviously you could do a better job at, like monitoring and obviously background checks and that kind of thing. But then also just on how he conducts his business and stuff, because if all of the videos are fake and that becomes like the one thing that like MrBeast is in like hot water for, that's kind of like a him problem type thing. Like if there is illegal action there, that would be his biggest issue. But to me personally, when it comes to that kind of stuff, oh shit, also I missed like 10 gifters from fucking Laura. Thank you so much. Again, holy shit, thank you. Welcome Tom, Nick, Maple, Serenity, Shari, Paige, Sav, Miss Mandy, Catbird, and L. Dallin. Thank you, Laura. Very kind. Definitely a glitch. Shit, man. What if... Shit, I really don't like having like tech issues on stuff because I just like get OCD about it. Yeah, MrBeast like always has the AI like face in all his videos. Terry, welcome back for 27 months. Got any plan for the 17th? P.S. No reception problems down under. Okay, yeah, I don't know. Maybe some people are having issues, some aren't. It's hard to say. Sounds like a cord glitch. Yeah, maybe it is. Did I miss something else too? No, okay, sorry. And David, thank you for the 2. I mean, that's the thing is like I don't really watch MrBeast videos anyways. So like my investment in it is just sort of like seeing what the drama tea is, and then just not, I don't know. I just like turn my brain off and like have it in the background for something. But it's like, you know, oftentimes people feel like, oh, you do YouTube. What's your thoughts on the king of YouTube? He rules over your, you know, he's the duke of your area. And I don't know. I just really don't give a shit. I mean, like, obviously don't like the, I don't know, the Ava Tyson, Chris Tyson thing was not good. But it seems like that's kind of like out of the way now. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know. I have no fucking clue. Samira, welcome back for 7 months. Doing guided meditations with your stories. That would be interesting. With such a huge business, things become really muddled, shady, especially with the YouTube channel. It seems like bigger ones start to have problems when it gets to a company level. I mean, bro's giving away fucking hundreds of millions of dollars, you know what I mean? I cannot for the life of me imagine managing some shit like that. Like, obviously it builds over time and you get used to it, but you know, he's a young guy too. People don't realize he started this when he was like a young teenager, and then now he's like in his like barely mid-20s. It's just, I don't know. It just sucks. Like, there's really no like because the thing when it comes to like public opinion is that it, you know, it doesn't really matter the details to some people. They kind of just like hear something and then it's just like, that's it, you know, like, all right, I'm out of here, you know, kind of thing. Or your reputation is sort of ruined very quickly. So I doubt that he would ever make a response within a video, because that would just like bring way too much attention to it in regards to his own brand and the people who watch his shit. But did he get all the money? I just heard something about like how he had some employees like for his like some of his fake stuff where the money was just going back to like the winners of the contest would be like employees or something, which maybe they just didn't get any money at all. Or even worse, imagine there was like some type of like tax write-off that was like falsified because it was given to a certain employee. I don't know. There's a lot to unpack there and way above my pay grade. Share the background music with us for sure. Yeah, I do love a little DNB liquid. Okay, before we get started, I'm just gonna kick it off, but before we get started, does my mic sound okay? If I'm gifted a membership, do I have to pay for it after a certain period? I think if you're gifted a membership, you get like 30 days of it till it like discontinues, and then you have to reset it yourself. but in that time of getting gifted, you can like binge all of the mic cuts a little bit. Damn, see, that's gonna bother me, I feel like. Fuck. You sound like you got punched in the mouth. Dentist gauze. Really? Does this sound bad? Or is it a jokey joke? Petting like an emo girl. What's up? The mic issues are barely noticeable. Or gained weight. I sound like I gained weight. Does people even sound different when they gain weight? That's funny. Do you watch without ads as a member on the channel? You know, I don't think though. I think you still need what's it called, YouTube Premium to watch the channel without ads. That would be a good idea though, if members got to watch your channel specifically without ads. Wait, see, I don't understand. That's so fucking confusing me. Some people are saying you're good, 0 problems, and then Shorn, you're saying fix the mic, it's really cutting out a lot. So like, that sounds like your end. So maybe if you reset the stream or something, maybe it wouldn't be an issue, because I can't fucking, I don't know, I can't like troubleshoot the shit whenever there's no consistency with what anybody's saying. Honestly, if there's one way to like derail the stream really fast, it's to tell me that there's audio issues, and it pisses me off, because I want it to sound perfect, because that's the whole fucking point of the thing. All right. Regional ISP issue. I mean, that might be it too. Oh, it cuts out while the music's maybe unplug and replug. All right. Yeah, it's just weird. I just did that though. Fuck me. All right. We're gonna do it one more time, and then we're gonna get to it.
Mischievous dog.
All right. If I can describe it, it sounds like when you listen to music with your aux and you accidentally pull it and clipping. Yeah, that might be the case. Owned by cats. Welcome back for Sound Fine. Happy Sunday. Okay. Yeah, fuck. All right. Northern Lights right now? That's sick. All right, guys, we got some Reddit stories. We're going to bang these out. It sounds better now. Aeon Sarat, welcome back for 10 months. Says, hey Joel and Buttersock, started caring for another elderly lady, and thankfully she doesn't have dementia. Love you all. Oh, that's good. Makes it a little bit easier to interact and not as chaotic. Okay, it sounds great now. Okay, maybe that's all we needed to do. It was just weird because I reconnected. Maybe I didn't fully connect it when I reconnected, or maybe it's just sweet. Yeah. Bit odd. Maybe I do. I can go on Amazon right now while we're talking about it so I don't forget. And XLR cable. Just get a new one. Does it matter? Yeah, let's just get a new one. How many feet is this? We got to do measurements. Just kidding. 6 feet's fine. Buy now. grab a big black dildo while we're there, just in case. Write that off on taxes. Send it into MrBeast and Ava. Should be good. All right, we're Gucci. All right, sorry. This story's going to be chaotic. These ones are kind of all over the place as far as... You want to be a mod? I don't even know if... Norfolk, have I even seen you in the chat and you want to be mod already? What the fuck? I just woke up in the middle of the night remembering this and needed to get it off my chest. When I was about 16, my father, brothers, and I lived in an old run-down house in the middle of nowhere. It was a private rental. My brother would do work for the landlord to pay our rent. Our landlord never came off as particularly creepy, but that could be because I rarely went outside when he came over to talk to my dad, and he wouldn't dare do anything in front of my father. I was home alone one day. My dad and brothers went out somewhere, I don't remember exactly where, and I had my dog in a fenced-in yard outside, but that was it. I was in my room doing whatever I was doing, probably playing The Sims 2, and we lived in the middle of nowhere, and there was a long driveway which the window of my bedroom directly faced. I couldn't see or hear anyone driving up the driveway. I saw a car, not my dad's, and kind of immediately freaked out. I ran and shut all the blinds in the house and turned off all the lights and checked the doors, making sure that they were locked. It was our landlord. He lived next door about 2 miles from our house, and yes, that was the closest house. This wasn't the first time that he'd come here unexpectedly. 2 4 Locos and 2 MD20s was a mistake. Yeah, do 4 Locos still have a shit ton of... Do 4 Locos still have a shit ton of caffeine in them? With conspiracies, do I believe? All of them, pretty much. There's like something deep down inside of me that like despises people that just like... They don't even listen to like if someone has a conspiracy theory they want to talk about with like, you know, or like any sort of distrust of like some status quo. And they're just like, oh, yeah, and they just write you off or whatever, like a Dumbo. And that's fine, like, I get it. Like, if it makes their sense of reality feel more secure by putting you down. But it frustrates me because it just, to me, it seems like there's no, not even so much that they don't believe you, but more so that they don't have, like, a degree of originality, like, within their mind to, like, think of narratives in sort of, like, an alternative way. Like they hear one narrative and that's the only narrative that they can adhere to, kind of like almost like a religious sort of perspective. And it just gets, it's so corny. It's like that's the only, you just, you know, you believe only what the, you know, what the, or at least what they tell you that the majority believes. Like there's no other variation or questions in your mind, you know what I mean? Conspiracy theory, I don't believe we have 24 hours in a day anymore. I don't know how to prove it. Bro, you know what's really weird? I probably would have streamed earlier, but my friend came over. He was in town, and he came over, and we just went on a walk and talked. And I was like, didn't this week feel like it went by so fast in like a weird way? And he was like, dude, I'm telling you, even though he technically would have like more days, you know, he wakes up much earlier than I do, and kind of, you know, due to his job or whatever, and still goes to bed at like midnight or whatever. So he's only like sleeping for like 6 hours a day. But he's like, he genuinely believes that there's something about like how time is passing that seems strange. Now I would have no way to prove any of that either, but it seems like we're all kind of subjectively experiencing time in a very odd way lately. Flat Earth conspiracy. Yeah, I'm not so much like into the flat Earth stuff. I would be more inclined to believe that maybe the Earth has a degree of hollowness to it, kind of like Godzilla or some shit. If you remember the more recent Godzilla movies, they go to the center of the earth and it's sort of like an entirely different like biome or, you know, existence down there. But I guess, yeah, in a degree, like, time is just sort of a made up thing. And, you know, that, I guess that would be, could you prove that in a strange way? Like, because, I mean, with time being relative to the observer, and, you know, you have, like, it seems like the theory of relativity, I don't know, it seems like some people in the scientific community sort of believe that. But if, like, speed and gravity supposedly would affect, you know, a biological being's ability to experience time in different ways, maybe there is some sort of alteration within, like, Earth's, I don't even know, frequencies or gravity, like the gravity of the sun or the activity of the sun, that could increase, or, you know, our experience of time. Isn't that proven the older you are, the faster time feels? Yeah, maybe that's it too. Maybe I'm just getting old. But why is that? Why would it be that way? But I guess, like, it seems like when you're younger, there's a lot more shit to do, you know? Whereas, like, when you're older, you've been doing the same thing. What's my stance on dreams? I'm for them. I think we should continue having them, and the government should stay out of our dreams. Gravity increases or decreases the flow of time. Yeah. What the fuck's that about? What the hell even is gravity? Like, I've always kind of thought, like, gravity as a theory just kind of didn't make any sense. But I've always kind of been more inclined that, like, some sort of magnetic energy that sort of flows from the poles of the Earth or whatever sort of celestial body is just interacting with, like, the polarities and, you know, poles of other, magnetic poles of other celestial bodies, and it's sort of some sort of interaction there, you know, to kind of create, like, repulsion, like where you're being repelled away, creating like spin, creating, you know, all that kind of stuff, just having, like, different effects on one another. But maybe that's incorrect too, but it still just feels like gravity is not understood. I mean, they sit there and talk about, like, if you're on, like, a trampoline, and then you take, like, a bowling ball and you put a bowling ball in the center of a trampoline, and then that's, like, space-time, where it's some sort of, like, space is some sort of, like, say you were in, like, water. Like, I've always kind of thought, like, if you were in, like, water, and whenever, like, a big boat goes by, you know, a little dinghy, its wake is going to affect the dinghy. Or say you were, like, a whale, and a whale swims by, like, a dead fish that's floating in the water, the dead fish is going to get knocked around. And maybe that's kind of how, like, space might work in its, like, sort of vacuum system as well. But I almost feel like, in a sort of similar sense, that if the mass that moves through the presence of, like, water, H2O, rather than, like, the dark, you know, a certain sense of matter filling that, like, void of space, maybe you can get a similar sort of representation of that experience between the two celestial bodies by just using their, you know, magnetic polarities or something like that, and they just interact that way, in a similar way that two objects in water would interact. The stereotypical little gray man is just a hypothetical human that just evolved to live in the deep, dark space. I mean, I guess, yeah, it wouldn't really indicate that it would be human. It would just be that it's just a biological being that's maybe been around longer or evolved, or I don't know. Who knows what the fuck aliens are? Who knows what anything is, honestly? Who knows if we've been around for 1,000,000 years, or if it just started like this? Like, I wouldn't be surprised either way, you know. Maybe we just never will have the answers, and we just have to be okay with that. Space is lame. Nip, I feel like you've changed. I don't remember your comments being so negative in the past. Not that it's a big deal, it's just like, I vaguely recall you communicating in chat years ago, and I don't remember it being negative. Am I named after Joel in the Bible? No, but what was, yeah, Joel in the Bible, what was his story about? It was about him like warning people about like an incoming locust plague or something from God. I'm actually curious. What was the story of Joel in the Bible about in one sentence? The story of Joel in the Bible is a prophetic book that describes a devastating locust plague as a warning of God's impending judgment and calls for repentance, promising restoration and blessings for those who turn back to God. Well, there you go, guys. Turn back to the Lord. Or a bunch of creepy crawlies will make your crops freaking suck. I don't know if they're aliens, but it's cool to at least think of them. I don't know, to be honest. The creatures are truly aliens that are really creepy. Yeah, I don't know. Like, some people think that they might be like some sort of manifestation of demonic entities, or, you know, like some sort of interdimensional being, or even like, I don't know, I've heard like aliens using the little grays almost like not like slaves necessarily, but just like biological suits where they can operate the ships using those through like psychical sort of connection, which I think could be accomplished at some point, where you are able to connect your consciousness to another biological entity to then like operate remotely. I mean, that doesn't seem like too far-fetched, does it? As far as, I mean, we invented fucking phones. What the fuck's a phone? We could probably invent, you know, indirect possession of a biological entity. This wasn't the first time that he'd come here unexpectedly. It happened twice before, and both times I was home alone. Those first two times he was only there for 10 minutes, walking around the outside of the house and then quickly leaving, but this time was different. I grabbed a big kitchen knife and hid under the kitchen table. I heard him pull up outside and open our front gate. My dog outside was going crazy and barking, and I heard him yell, "Shut up, you mutt." And I could hear his footsteps walking up to the door. He tried to open the front door, and I was freaking out. At this point, I texted my dad, and he was coming straight home, but they'd be like an hour. He continued to walk around the outside of our house, trying to peek into each window. The house is old and has 3 doors that you can enter from the outside, and he tried to open all 3. I thought maybe that he didn't know that I was home. Maybe the last 2 times were just a coincidence, but he started saying things, including calling out my name, and he knew that I was home alone. I couldn't hear what else he was saying through the double brick walls, but I quietly creeped through the house following his voice up and down the hallway. I was trying to hear what he was saying, and that's when he said something that I'll never forget. "I'm gonna burn this house down, but I'll let you out first." Of course, I didn't take him seriously, which scares me even more. He wanted me to come out. He wanted me to take his threat seriously. And that's the part that gets me. I know exactly what would have happened if I had believed him, and my life would have been completely different. He was there for at least a half an hour, maybe closer to an hour, and he was very persistent, and he left before my dad came home. I told him everything, and we moved out soon after. I still don't know how he knew that I was home alone, and my dad never saw him on the way driving out, so he knew my dad was gone because there was no car in the driveway. But how did he know I wasn't with him? And why did he act like that? I'm confused. Why? So, like, I don't understand. So she's indoors, right? And then the landlord shows up, and she's experienced the landlord being there before. But why was I not paying attention? Why was her initial reaction prior to him saying anything like weird to her to go hide under a table with a knife, like, and lock all? I don't know. Why was her initial reaction to like lock down everything? Was there a reason given for that? The ocean creatures are aliens in a way. They really are, yeah. But I guess every creature is kind of an alien. Land insects, fucking like a deer. Like a white-tailed deer is kind of like a strange alien to us, even though we see it all the time. And we might be able to like relate to it as like a mammal, or maybe it looks similar to like our pets that we have evolved in conjunction with. Oh, yeah, she's literally holding down the fort. She took that very seriously when Dad said that. When you learn about thought forms and tulpas, it's not hard to see how it could be possible. Wait, what's tulpas? You know, that would actually be an interesting thing. If scientists were able to like isolate some degree of frequency or some sort of something that you could scan on a living creature that would indicate that it's having thought, you know, or like some sort of something that it emanates that indicates that it has some degree of like brain activity, I guess. Obviously you could scan a brain, but you know, they always talk about like alpha waves, beta waves, all that kind of stuff. But it'd be really interesting if like plants and like certain things that you wouldn't anticipate to be like, to have conscious thought, to have the same sort of similar presentation of data that like humans might have or something. Tulpas are imaginary beings made real. Hell yeah, dude. I've created a few of those. And they're never getting out. My voice sounds like a Calvin Klein model. Yes, this is called the blue steel. As a nurse, is it true that there are babies born with gills like fish? I have no idea, dude. I don't think a nurse would really know that one. And I never worked in like a maternity ward. Advice for being screamed at like nothing, trashed by druggies working overnight gas station shift. I saw somebody ask advice earlier, so I was like, oh, what's that? I would just call the cops, you know. They can at least like send a patrol car around to like intimidate the druggies to leaving, you know, or leave you alone. Otherwise, I would just lock up and call your boss or whatever, just for your own protection. You know what I mean? You don't owe that business anything, especially if those druggies are like potentially violent or unpredictable. Cops were in their store, didn't say anything. Yeah, I mean, if you feel intimidated to the point that your life could be hurt or something, like, you know, and then maybe they gave actual threats or whatever, you know, you really have to sit there and think like, oh, is this job worth my life? So maybe call your boss or just literally go through the process of locking up the store and leaving in a safe manner and then just fucking quitting. You know, I know that sounds bad and sounds like a shitty, you're like, well, now I got to find a new job, but if you don't feel safe, man, like gas station jobs are not fucking safe in general. Like the fact that people just like target those for robberies and stuff, like can you imagine that, just like working behind a register and like somebody pulls a fucking like gun on you just because they want $20 for some stupid drug that they ruined their life with, and they're totally comfortable ruining your life while you work like a shitty paying job. You know what I mean? It's just such a lame thing that it happens there all the time. What do you think about the theory of the outer space actually being the firmament ocean? Yeah, I don't know. Like, you know, oftentimes like you hear about the theory that like NASA is just kind of like made up, or that they're trying to like hide the fact that the Earth is flat, or that there's some sort of like we're in like a dome. You know what I mean? But it just seems like there would be so many people in that hierarchy of information, especially like amateur astronomers and things of that nature, that like it just seems like such an effort to cover up something like that, you know? And maybe it, like I said again, like it's, you know, reality is strange like that sometimes, but it just seems like such a freaking chore to go through that every day and make sure that your narrative is consistent. And Bill Nye the Science Guy believes in the firmament? I don't think he does. Anahi, what's up? Have you ever been in a situation where you had to call the cops? Fuck, it's been I guess I worked in a bar, and sometimes there would be times where we had to call the police to, like, deal with somebody, but I guess that was kind of normal, and then all they would do is, like, show up and just be like, humans have a nougat center. I think we have to verify that one. Do you have any firearm advice? My firearm advice is, like, obviously depends on where you're from in the United States and your laws and stuff. But, like, if you do decide to purchase firearms legally, of course, that you should honestly take training. Like, you should genuinely take training that teaches you firearm safety and things like that, because, you know, sometimes there are ways to just, like, oh, go down to the courthouse, get a, you know, concealed carry license, and oh, after that I'm going to go over to Mr. Poop's Guns, you know, and buy a pistol so I feel safer. And it's like, that's cool. And there are some, like, pistols that are, like, a little bit less complicated than others. But, you know, if that's really something that you feel the need to do. But at the same time, if you don't know how to use a firearm and you're not confident with your experience with it, it could end up just, like, making you more uncomfortable or more paranoid, or in worst case scenario, like, you or someone else gets hurt. So yeah, I would just maybe take a firearms training course just to, like, familiarize yourself with that kind of stuff. Yeah, I do have a concealed carry, but, you know, you never know. I'm 22 years old. We used to have a neighbor who was around 60 to 70 years old, and he died a few years ago. When he was still alive, he would cause us so much trouble. Scratched our car, poisoned our apple trees and grass, blew up a firework near me to cause me to temporarily go deaf on one ear when I was like 4, all kinds of things. His son was a judge in our city, so pretty much everything we took to court was against us. And I remember Dad often called us from work to tell us not to be alone at home, and we would have to stay at Grandma's. When I was little, I think about 6 or 7, I would frequently have nightmares about seeing a face outside the bathroom window. The window is above our bathtub. It's high enough that no one can actually see in unless the What's an open? Yeah, so, like, concealed carry is, like, where you have, like, a pistol or something like that, but it's tucked away in a, like, either in your pocket or a fucking, like, say you have a purse. Like, a lot of girls might have, like, a pistol in their purse or whatever, you know, or a holster, you know. But then, like, open carry is where where it's, like, on a holster on your side and people can see the firearm. Now that's, you know, it's legal in certain places, but depending on the culture that you're in, like, it can actually end up causing you more issues, even if it is technically legal, just because, you know, there is a degree of discomfort, obviously, around firearms. And if people just, like, see you walking around looking like, you know, the Doom guy or whatever, fucking, or looking like John Marston, you know, they might, yeah, you know, a pistol in their vagina. Yeah, they might just feel a little uncomfortable. Double Desert Eagles. Do you think the company would care about the results I've given them, or they won't take under consideration when I come clean when they ask about my BA during background checks? I remember you brought this up before, right? Can you ask the question again? I don't know why the way it's written is confusing me. You want me to wait 45 minutes so you can catch up? Sure. Lost all your farms in the flood. Tannerite and ball bearings too. Damn. Where were you at? Was that down south? Walking around like Arthur Morgan. Open carry makes you a target. It definitely makes you a target in regards to law enforcement or the general population kind of like looking at you like, what the fuck's he doing? You know, especially if the area you're in. But, you know, if there was somebody thinking, let's say you go into a gas station and somebody was thinking about robbing it, they probably might think twice if they saw that you were fucking strapped. It's high enough that no one can actually see. Can I adopt you? Dude, I don't even know. I remember my friend said that to me one time when he was like it was like, man, I'd like to have kids at some point here. He's like, what about fostering a kid? And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking? Like, I was just thinking how awkward it would be, like, me as like a grown man, you just like as like a single grown man, you just like casually foster a kid. Like, I guess that wouldn't be like too weird, but it would just like, I don't know. For me, I feel like that would be like the weirdest jump ever. I feel like I would absolutely need to fucking be married before doing anything crazy like that. Would they care about the results I've given them? My experience is real. It's just that I never got my BA. Or do you think the company would boot me out next month when they ask me background check? I remember we talked about it, but I thought you already applied for those positions or whatever, and not having a bachelor's. I guess at the end of the day, it's like, I'm trying to visualize what your exact circumstance is so I can like actually think how I would play that. But I mean, if there's nothing to lose there, and you feel that and the person feels that you're qualified to do the job, then I think we talked about that last time. Is the episode of It's Always Sunny when they go to the gun convention to purchase a gun, and when they try to rob the seller, everyone pulls out their own strap. Yeah. You want a child so bad, but I don't want it to birth it. I would like it pre-made. Yeah. Get it from you can order it on Temu probably. Hey, comrade, sorry about the head hurting. That stinks. Be sure to stay hydrated. It's high enough that no one can actually see in unless they climb the roof on our shed, which is underneath the bathroom window in our garden. Coincidentally, the shed is directly next to a fence that separates our garden from the neighbor's one. I still remember the dreams. I remember having them pretty much every other night. I never told my parents when I was little because I was never really taught. Fuck, where am I at? I still remember the dreams. I'll stick with working with kids and treating them like... Well, that's the thing. It's like I have friends who have kids, and it's like, it's honestly going and visiting them and like them being happy and childlike and just being happy to see you and stuff. Like, that's honestly, at least in my mind, enough for me right now, where I can just, you know, we can all have fun, be done with the day, and then, you know, because they can be very exhausting, and then you're just like, all right, let me get the fuck out of here. They can deal with the crying, all that shit. The Doherty diapers. I still remember the dreams. I still remember the dreams. I remember having them pretty much every other night, and I never told my parents when I was little because we never really talked about anything, so I didn't really share anything that was happening to me. Well, I grew up thinking that they were just dreams and that was it. I did mention them to my therapist last year because we were discussing some personal problems, and I felt like this was kind of connected. After coming home, Mom asked me what I talked about with my therapist, so I finally shared that I used to have such dreams. I never really thought about them being real, but she told me that I actually did tell her that I saw our neighbor on our shed's roof. I don't remember telling her that, but she said that I did mention it several times, and even my friends told her that they saw him there when they came over to our house, and it really creeped them out. Apparently I never mentioned him watching me in the shower, but after she told me that, it really clicked for me, and it was as if I suddenly remembered that, yeah, I do think it was him. It would make sense, and the fact that it happened still creeps me out. There was another incident that creeped me out too, and it happened when I was around 9 to 10. I went to the balcony in the evening, and the balcony door was in my room, and I often went there to call my cat home in the evening. But this time I saw a person standing in the middle of our garden. It was already dark out, and I couldn't really tell who it was. I waited for a little bit to see what the person does, but I didn't really see him move. It was as if he was just standing there and staring in front of him. I called out, "Dad?" Because obviously I expected it to be him, even though I found it odd. But the person looked up at me, and even though it was dark, I could tell it was someone else. I think it was partly because my eyes had just adjusted to the dark and I could make out the silhouette of the person better. And I went to tell my dad, who was downstairs, but when he looked, there was no one there. When I went back upstairs to my room and went to the balcony again, I noticed my neighbor's back door closing just when I looked there. I don't remember if it was directly the next day or a few doors later. Circumstances. I worked on this well-known company for almost 6 months, managed their sites. Recruiter told me if everything continues smoothly, I'll be a permanent after background check is complete. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's the question, is like, are you quitting a previous position to then pursue this one? And that if they do the background check and see you don't have the bachelor's degree, but know that you're still capable of completing said tasks, will you end up losing that job and not being able to get your old one back or something of that nature? So I guess you would just have to weigh that out. Like if for some reason they had an issue with the background check showing that you didn't have a bachelor's, would they drop you, and would they drop you from your previous position too, or would you lose a previous position, I guess? And I don't know, you would just have to figure that out. I don't remember if it was directly the next day or a few days later, but our grass turned brown and we found out it was poisoned, most of the grass being out of reach from his property. You never wanted to be married, never wanted children, you got 4 of each. That's funny. Do you think the world would ever get to the point similar to Cyberpunk 2077 where body augmentation would be common, for example, subdermal armor or reinforced skeletons, eyes and zoom? I don't know if they would ever provide that for the common public, you know what I mean? Because I imagine the initial rollout would either cause like a bunch of issues, or, you know, the government would perceive those individuals as like grave threats to national security or whatever the fuck, you know. So I imagine there will be some degree of augmentation within people's minds, like the Neuralink or whatever, that kind of bullshit. But I think there would have to be like a million different protocols put in place to keep those people or those augmentations from being a threat to the government. And I don't know. I don't think I would ever do a Neuralink thing, even if it did make you like super smart, because it's like at that point you're just like permanently tracked forever. That's not to say what other things they could just like give you a seizure out of nowhere. I mean, if you have an electric car, they can take control of your car and drive it into off a bridge going 100 miles an hour or whatever. So it's like, imagine what they can do to your Neuralink as soon as you give them the ability to do so. But even just the glitches that would occur, like I'm sure there's going to be some degree of like, what if it just like turns off? Or what if like while they're doing the brain surgery to put it in there, they like accidentally bump the area of your brain that feels empathy or something, and then now from forever on you just like have this like strange inkling to like kill people and you feel nothing bad about it, you know what I mean? Yeah, and they run ads in your head all the fucking time. That'd be so annoying. Most modern cars are fly-by-wire and connect to some kind of network. Well, that's true too, I guess. I just remember hearing it was like over a decade ago that there was like some journalist or something that had his car controlled, and then he drove like 100 miles an hour into a fucking pole and, you know, quote unquote killed himself, but it was a bit odd circumstances. Quantum computing is going to change everything much faster than the last 100 years. It's going to be crazy. That would be neat. I don't know anything about it, but that sounds cool. I went to a wedding of my friend Courtney about 2 days ago, and I still can't shake my mind over what happened. For context, I grew up in a very religious household and went to a church every Sunday, and Courtney is probably the only person from my old church that I still keep in contact with. The situation started at the reception. Courtney was super excited to see me and was definitely the only person who felt that way, judging from all the stares from the people at my old church. I sat down at my table and started playing something on my phone when some guy sat next to me. He said that the seating chart said that he was supposed to sit at my table and introduced himself as the groom's friend, Anthony. He was pretty cute, so I spent a lot of time talking to him and we really hit it off. He didn't seem to judge me for being an atheist and seemed genuinely interested in me. When the dance started, they started playing Brown Eyed Girl and he offered to dance with me. And we danced together for most of the night until we left to go to the bathroom, and a little later I did too. When I came out, I saw that my purse wasn't on the table, which was weird because I swore that I left it on there. I was tired and thought that I had just left it in my car, so I went to the parking lot and into my car to look for it and found it was on the center console. I still thought it was weird because I really thought that I had brought it inside, but at that point it was really late in the night, so I didn't think much of it. I danced some more and noticed that Squanthony. Joel, check the new Kanye West foam helmet. That's the first step. Oh, wait, what is it? I do remember seeing something about like people playing video games with their mind, and it is sort of like a helmet that you put on your head, which seems pretty sick. Blockchain is on deck. You are the Internet of Things, just a node. Yeah, I still don't really understand anything about the blockchain. I still, like, it's like, I don't know, people talk about the reason you should buy their shitcoin is because it offers better XYZ technology, but I didn't even really understand Bitcoin, you know, let alone any of their made up bullshit, so it's just, I don't know. I guess it just goes to show you how incredibly ridiculous just the concept of money in and of itself is when it doesn't really innately have value. Do I have medical advice for period mood disorder? I don't. I don't get my period very often. Just hemorrhoids. No, I'm just kidding. Any advice for PMD? Is that what PMD is? Product management development? No. Right? Premenstrual dysphoric disorder? Is that what that is? Life adjustments, stress management, medical management, supplements. Here you go. Some women find relief with certain supplements like calcium, magnesium, or vitamin B6, but it's essential to discuss this with your doctor before starting any new supplement. I guess you would have to like figure out what your symptoms are before you could. How do you cure a hangover? Good question, honestly. How do you cure a hangover? Hydration, electrolytes, carbohydrates, eggs. Oh yeah, eggs was a big thing. Fruits and vegetables, rest. B vitamins and zinc, B complex vitamins. I do remember, like, I took this one thing, like, it was like after a degree of drinking, it was like after your last drink, take this one thing and it like mitigates the hangover. What was that? Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. Like, what the fuck am I supposed to know about period bullshit? You know, it's like, I don't, like, I went to school for it, but it's like, there wasn't like an entire class like, all right, guys, let's learn about the period. Do you plan on more Stalker, Home Alone, dark web stories? I'm not so much sure about dark web, but definitely like cyber crime stuff. And yeah, I'm sure we'll get plenty of Stalker, Home Alone stuff. I mean, we kind of got some of that tonight. Yeah. I don't know. That is tough, though. I mean, let's go back. Honestly, I am curious about, like, if... I guess you would have to say, like, what aspects, like, whenever someone is on their period and they're having mood fluctuations. Regular exercise, engaging in regular physical exercise such as walking, yoga, swimming can help reduce the stress, improve mood, healthy diet, eating a balanced diet, fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, avoiding caffeine, sugar, alcohol, adequate sleep. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's just basically the things that can help, like, reduce the negative effects of, like, fluctuations in hormones. Yeah. I don't know. Huge fan. I listen to all your stories when I'm at work. Spotify. Question: what is your favorite story to narrate? Like, most scary in your opinion? I like the ghost stories, honestly. Have I played Cyberpunk 2077? I did when it first came out, and it was really buggy and bullshit. And I remember kind of like sitting down and thinking to myself, I'm like, even if this wasn't like a crazy buggy mess, I'm not even sure that I would be like that into it. But honestly, the fact that it was a buggy mess just really like ruined the mood. And I just like, because a lot of the times me playing games is like based on like momentum. The second that it becomes like too much bullshit or I just don't care, yeah, I just like lose interest really fast. I cried for 2 hours straight last night and got on my knees for God to kill me. And then this morning I woke up and he was like, that was weird. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, that might have been a sleep thing because I've gotten really, really moody before sleep. So honestly, I've heard people say don't trust your thoughts after like, 9 p.m. Or yeah, definitely don't trust your thoughts after like midnight. Because really it just might be like your brain telling yourself like you need a nap, Because if you think when you're little and you're a little kid, like, you're cranky as hell, and then, you let your brain reset and kind of rebuild itself, and, like, now you're just good to go. You dig cryptic stories. The Stalker wants the creepy neighbors. Yeah. Hell yeah. Where was I? Oh, the wedding. That's right. I danced. Anthony. Oh, yeah. I danced some more and noticed Anthony was gone. I asked the groom who said he would... Oh. I danced some more and noticed that Anthony was gone. I asked the groom who said that he had gone home because he wasn't feeling too good. And pretty soon, I felt pretty sick too, so I said bye to Courtney and went to my car. As I put my keys into the ignition, I looked behind me and saw something weird. It looked like something had ducked down from the trunk. It looked like someone had ducked down from the trunk. I took my keys out and looked back there, and that's when I saw him. Anthony was crouched down in the trunk of my car. I started screaming and ran out with him chasing after me. I went inside and told Courtney, who immediately told her husband, who walked me back to my car where Anthony was nowhere to be seen. Courtney's husband said that he didn't see his car anywhere, so he probably left. And I left, and I still felt sick to my stomach thinking about it. He could have easily gone home with me and killed me if I hadn't looked back. Courtney said that she feels terrible that she invited him and that she had no idea that he would do something like that. And I haven't stepped out of my house since because I'm worried that if I do, that he'll be waiting for me like he was before. Now, update. The last couple of days have been kind of crazy, so I haven't had the chance to look, but thank you all for your advice that I wish that I've been known about. Yeah, I was going to say, why wouldn't they immediately call the cops? Isn't that like a immediately call the cops type scenario? If you think someone's going to kill you? I like ghost stories from people in small towns. For some reason, they really set the mood, especially when it's dark out and you like hanging by the... Yeah, I really like we kind of did like paranormal stories from Japan. I really wish my like stories from Japan did way better. Like I work with Jay Nightmares on like translating those, and they're so good, in my opinion. Like they just seem to have a lot more character to them, you know? And they definitely feel very authentic to the Japanese area, obviously, but let's read Japan stories. But like, yeah, they don't really pop off too crazy. Well, that one's not terrible. Paranormal stories from Japan 228. Paranormal from Japan 7 years ago. That's a long time ago. 8 stories from Japan. Yeah, it's like, I don't know. Like any video that kind of gets capped out at like the at a certain viewership that I think it should get more, and just makes me wonder if it's really like worth... I don't know why people aren't interested. I thought people love like Japan shit. But then this one did really well, which is odd. I don't know. Demon Dean and Soulless Sam. I don't think I've heard of them before. Are they YouTubers? Mexican folklore. Oh yeah, like Ya Llorona or Ya Llorona or what is it? Ya Llorona. No update. The last couple of days have been kind of crazy, so I haven't had the chance to look, but thank you all for your advice that I wish I'd have known about earlier. Unfortunately, my address was on my ID, and as I learn now, Anthony took photos of it. Anthony and the groom aren't exactly friends, but they know each other well enough for him to be invited. After the whole fiasco, the groom tried to text Anthony about it but got no response. Anthony showed up at my job and lurked around the parking lot before he ran off when he saw security. And he left me a note on my windshield that was just saying something like, "Watching." Security at my job had been notified about him, so hopefully I'm safe there, and I was told by other people that went to the wedding that he was introducing himself as my boyfriend and that he was planning on proposing. I'm currently trying to file a restraining order against this guy, but I just feel horrified. He lives in my city and knows where I live, so I'm staying in my aunt's house as I speak. And if anything happens, I'll update again. I have a big weighted stuffed bunny thing that my mom got me. That's sick. Use it for weightlifting. That actually would be kind of sick if they made like stuffed animals, but they're actually like 80 pounds or something, or like 150 pounds. And you could use it to like hoist up onto your shoulder and throw around. Have I ever been to Japan? I have not. I would very much like to go. Crazy Antarctica expedition stories. I think I remember seeing some Antarctica stories from like 4chan. So maybe I will have those transcribed at some point to like dig into those just for the fuck of it. The only bad thing is that even if they are ridiculous, I feel like I would need them to like at least sound cool or sound interesting. Otherwise, it's kind of just like a waste of time because everybody's like gets so mad about when the stories aren't like absolutely authentical. I've been to Antarctica and this is nothing like my experience. Am I still coughing? I think I'm like good. Actually, I would say today has been like the least amount of like mucus I've brought up, like next to none. So, you know how like when you just get stuff in your lungs, it just seems to take like weeks to go away, you know, and I feel like I'm finally donezo with it. It's funny, does my regular voice sound like my narrator voice? Harmonica does scary stories from New Mexico, and her mom and grandma, some are super scary, and she translates them from Spanish. That's cool. Stuffies would be interesting. I don't know. I know like some YouTubers, like they start a product and then promote their products like through their videos. Like some people do coffee or whatever. It would be kind of cool to actually like start in earnest. Like what would you guys even want? Like a line of like melatonin? That actually would be kind of cool, but like how do you even get into that? And then people, I don't know, if you're selling like some sort of supplement, I feel like that's where it gets kind of iffy, because especially if it's for like sleep, people would put you under the microscope and be like, what the fuck's this shit? It kills people. Like if my sleep medication accidentally kills you, that's on you, baby. Sorry. Like you expect me to like do testing? Yeah, right. Not when there's money to be made. Nair tutorial, yeah. I think that's a good direction to take the channel in. Just showing my asshole. Skip the face reveal, go directly to butthole. Spanish podcast, recognize the stories because I heard them from you first. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if like certain foreign language like channels like take stories from my channel or whatever and just like translate them, because I would never fucking know, and I would have really no idea how to like copyright strike somebody for something like that. I don't even know if that's... Do I like The Thing? I do like The Thing. I actually saw something related to a newer The Thing, the creation of The Thing, the movie documentary coming out with John Carpenter. The mic's perfectly fine, so need to worry. Okay, good. I think once we reset it was good. Do I understand Spanish? I do not know. There's some stuff, but yeah, I'm not really on top of that. Strongly consider doing movie trailers. I'll see what I can do. Do you think it's weird to buy a used couch? No, that's pretty normal, honestly. I mean, because it's probably the cheapest way to get furniture, and especially if you're in like college or whatever, people always buy like, they'll just find furniture off the side of the street. Though I do, whenever I see like furniture on the side of the street and I'm like, oh, that looks cool, but it's like it only takes like one day of that piece of furniture getting completely soaked from rain that it's like screwed forever, because then it's gonna have like mold and like gross shit in it, and you're like, well, I can't use that anymore. Yeah, give it the black light. And technically, yeah, you could cover it with some sort of blanket or whatever so you don't feel yucky. It's like sleeping with the previous owner. I guess so. I mean, it depends on... You could take it through the appropriate like cleaning mechanism. Delouse it. Admittedly, I've been a lurker on this sub for a few years now. I've tried to type out my story numerous times, but always struggled to wade through the pieces as they gotten more and more jumbled and foggy with time. And I can't say that I was traumatized by what happened. I'm not sure if it makes me a messed up person, but I typically tell this story at parties to manipulate drunk acquaintances into thinking that I've survived something cool. So, let's get into it. In 2015, I was 19 and working the summer at a Bible camp for inner city kids. I'm going to leave out the city name, but just know that obviously crime occurs frequently in big cities, and this one was no different. I had been assured that this neighborhood, however, was in the process of being gentrified, and they had even just opened up a hipster coffee shop / dog park right down the street. And just to give you a really clear visual, this neighborhood had dilapidated houses with trash out in the front right next to the houses, with immaculate yards and square modern architecture. The Bible camp where I was working was essentially just a huge 2-story house with a large fenced-in yard. Again, we were assured that we were safe, though, because we had bars on the windows and the outer doors locked automatically when they shut. The camp was conducted downstairs, and the summer counselors, there were 4 of us, lived in the small upstairs that was off-limits during the day to the kids. Our camp ran 5 days a week, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., then time was ours to explore the city or rest or whatever we wanted to do. Probably enough to get the story. Can I say chupapi mo nanyo? What did I just say? Did I say something bad? Yeah, actually, kind of interesting, because sometimes, like, when as I've been sick, I would like kind of take like a breath, and like you would feel like a rattle in your lungs. I actually haven't really felt that rattle in my lungs today, so that's kind of poggers. Which, you know, it's just kind of like, from what I was reading, it's just kind of like remnants of a little bit of bronchitis. What did I cook for dinner? What did I have for dinner? Oh, I actually had a sandwich from like Panera. And then when my friend came over, they brought a bunch of shit that they made. So I don't know, I ate a bunch of food in the span of like an hour. Hard being so badass. Yeah, it's tough sometimes, keeping up with it, making sure everybody knows I'm the coolest guy. Our camp ran 5 days a week, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., then time was ours to explore the city or rest or whatever. Probably enough to get to the story now. I love a good setting, and it could be important later. Now, one weekend night in July, we were all just hanging out in the house and making a spaghetti dinner. We each got our own stipend for food, so we divided it accordingly for meals, then brought our own snacks and stuff. We were also in charge of preparing lunch and snacks for the kids on camp days, so we had 2 fridges and 2 pantries. And as you can probably guess, we labeled them camp fridge and pantry, and one is labeled staff fridge and pantry. We also were super petty and wrote out our names all over our snacks in the fridge. My best friend worked at the camp with me, and we'll call her Chris, and it was our turn to cook that night, so I went into the staff fridge to grab the ground beef. I immediately noticed that my case of Go-Gurts is gone. They were my go-to snack, and I brought like 3 cases a week. I had just opened my last box about an hour before to... I immediately noticed that my case of Go-Gurts... Yeah, you don't steal someone's... Oh, Liz, you got the bacon rancher? Yeah, dude, that shit is that's what I get. That's like my fucking favorite shit right there. It's funny to see, like, just how they make it different every time. Some people really put, like, love and care into it, whereas I feel like some employees at Panera are a bunch of bullshit artists. Also, it was kind of funny. I went to... I feel like... I told you guys about that weird person at, like, Dunkin' Donuts who was just, like, super freaking wooed. But I went there, like, the next day as well. Because fuck them, I don't care. And Starbucks was, like, packed, so... fuck everybody. But then when I went back in there, it was like a nice girl that like took my order and got my drink. But it was so funny because like when she handed me my drink, it was supposed to be hot, you know, it was supposed to be like piping fucking hot. And like as soon as I grabbed it, it was like cold as shit. And which is so odd. It's like how do you make a drink, especially in a coffee thing, and it's somehow like freezing. And I was like, hey, sorry. And I normally don't give a fuck, but because the guy was a dick yesterday, I was just like, all right, this is annoying. So I was like, hey, this is cold. And she was like, oh, yeah, I thought so. When I handed it to you, I thought it was cold. And I'm just thinking, like, if you thought that and you made it, why the fuck didn't you correct said thing? And I was like, you can just like microwave it. You know, I was trying to be nice or whatever. But then the dickhead from the day before, like as she went away to do that, like as I'm sitting there for a while, he like comes up and like, you know, slams open the thing. He's like moves like a bird. Like it genuinely was like if you imagine like a bird that's also like a Muppet, you know, on like a theater stage, and it just like busts out of like a side like window, you know, like, and it's like, what? And he was just like, what do you need? I was like, that's all right. She got my thing. He's like, okay. And like slams the thing. I was just like, get the fuck out of here. You specifically suck. But I don't have the balls to tell you you suck, because if I come back here again, I'm both going to feel awkward and wonder if you pooped in my drink. The Muppet people. I don't know, dude. So I mean, I get it. Like he's probably just stuck there all the fucking time and like hates his job, but wouldn't it be much more fun to like make people happy? Make people joyously happy to get their disgusting caffeine slop. He might be on meth. He's skinny as shit. Like so skinny, like when he turns around, it's like even though he's already skinny, it's like he has no butt. He just has like no ass, and his like pants are like falling down. Is he a teenager? He's got to be in his like early to mid 20s. Doesn't look like a teenager per se. I immediately noticed that my case of Go-Gurts is gone. They were my go-to snack, and I brought like 3 cases a week. I had just opened my last box like an hour before to have one and left it in front of the ground beef. And it sounds crazy, but I knew I did. I closed the fridge door and head to the dining room. And Chris is closely behind me and yell at everyone, "Who stole all my Go-Gurt?" And that night, in addition to Chris and myself, there were the 2 other summer counselors, 2 permanent counselors that live in the area, and then the cousin of one of the permanent counselors. Everyone looked at me wide-eyed, then looked around blankly. I figured it was the cousin because I had never met her before, so I sucked it up and said, whatever. Just, if it has a name on it, please don't eat it. And then pull Chris back into the kitchen to finish up the spaghetti. We all eat dinner, and then the 2 permanent counselors volunteer to do the dishes because we let them eat with us. And the rest of us head back upstairs to get comfy in the sitting room on the couches and turn on Family Guy. We're only like 2 minutes in when the cousin, we'll call her Sarah, says, "Wait, I can't find my phone or wallet." I pause. You never pause, Family Guy. Never interrupt Peter. Got a few more books for my hyperlexia. I burned through books. Yeah, Cody, how many, I'm just curious, how many words do you read, I guess, like a minute? Is that how they do it? Words per minute? When you wear your own merch and talk so nonchalantly? Yeah, I don't wear my own merch. I feel like that would be weird. Do you plan on new merch? Yeah, at some point. I probably should, honestly, and then I could, maybe do like a little trailer for merch or something via Robin. He could make the merch and then do a cool trailer to like promote all the stuff. Oh, you're good. Basically read about 1 to 2 hours every night. And do you know how many pages you get through in that like 1 to 2 hours? because for some reason, like, people's ability to, like, read super fast, I don't know, it just seems like a superpower to me. Ever since because when I was young, I didn't learn how to read till I was, like, fucking, like, 9. I know that sounds weird, but I just, like, I was so apprehensive to it because I was bad at it that I just, like, never allowed myself to, like, even try, you know what I mean? It was very strange. But then when I finally learned how to read, I was like, wow, I finally unlocked that ability, you know, that my friends in fucking kindergarten were doing. Because it was always sick. There was always, like, one, like, kid who's, like, 4 or 5 years old who, like, is, like, insane at reading, and then you would go up to him like he could, you know, decipher an ancient alien language, and you're like, yo, Dylan, what does this say? And he's like, it says, please do not piss on the toilet. Okay, cool, that's interesting. How did I get past the first grade? I don't know, dude. I was not good. I remember finishing, like, first book ever, and I was like, wow, what the fuck, I did that? Year 8,000 for asking for new merch. Yeah, now I do it. Yeah, I guess I do it professionally now. I don't know, once I figured it out, I caught up to it real quick or whatever. No, honestly, it was like 9 years old. Like, I genuinely, like, I remember it was always like a problem. It reminded me a little bit of like how, like, an old homeless guy might feel not knowing how to read. Like, if you live on, like, a train or something, and you just have to, like, I don't know, I had to get by. I had to get by as a 9-year-old. But, like, you know, from kindergarten, it was kind of, like, permissible at that point, I guess, not knowing how to read, because everybody was kind of doing that. But I specifically, like, had a memory in, like, 3rd grade, and I was only, like, maybe I was 8 or something, but it was, like, 3rd grade, and I was, like, renting books from the library for, like, you know, private reading bullshit, and I would only grab the fucking Dr. Seuss books, because those were the only ones. I, like, had those memorized by that fucking point. And I just remember my 2nd grade teacher being like, what the fuck is this? No, you're not reading fucking Dr. Seuss. Go get a chapter book like a normal fucking kid. And then I brought my AK in the next day. I'm just kidding. Used to read Goosebumps. Yeah, I did eventually get into Goosebumps, but I do remember, like, before I could even read it all, I would just, like, look at the Goosebumps covers of the books in, like, the grocery store and be like, whoa, can you imagine what's said inside of that? Can you imagine what it says? I'm not gonna, like, take the time to learn, but your son's in 2nd grade and has issues. You know, it's tough. Coming from a kid who didn't know what the fuck he's doing, it's just tough, you know. And honestly, to me it's just repetition. It was just you just kind of have to, you don't have to, like, force it on the kid, but you just have to, like, he has to have the repetitive experience of, like, problem solving the words, and then eventually it becomes like a little formula in their head, you know. So even though they're having issues now in 2nd grade, believe me, if you keep putting them onto it, they will figure it out. Yeah, the pick your own adventures were sick, dude. I remember, like, solving one of those on the first go, like, not ending up in a dead trap or whatever, and I was so impressed with myself. Yeah, everybody, like, you know, everybody, not even just kids, but just everybody in life, you know, doesn't figure stuff out at the same pace, and, you know, they eventually get there, but they might have, like, different skills in different areas that they sort of excel at. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter whether you're gifted with something or not, you know, it's just about how much time you put into it. Yeah, I was Let's Not Read when I was a little kid. 10-year-olds who couldn't spell the word exit. I mean, it's tough. Like, when you don't have the education necessary. Like, I was so fucking jealous of this one kid in my class. He had a teacher, or he had a mom for a teacher. Or no, he had a... Yeah, his mom was a teacher is what I'm trying to say. And I was just so jealous because she made him so smart. He was always in all the advanced shit. And I knew for a fact it was because he had, like, extra help at home. And that was some bullshit. That was some motherfucking bullshit. And I wanted that. In elementary school, I pull index cards with words up everywhere. Also use closed captions on every device. Yeah, and I think, honestly, in a weird way, Pokemon really helped me learn how to read. Because I really wanted to play Pokemon, but you couldn't play it unless you were able to tell what I mean, you could kind of like weasel your way through what was said on the screen, but just based on the fact that, like, screen text was always like brought up with like various words and kind of like instructions on what you should do next or whatever. Yeah, I think video games kind of help with that. You just kind of have to make it fun for a kid. I pause the show and roll my eyes, still annoyed about the Go-Gurt, and Chris says, "Where did you last have them?" And Sarah says she left them on the couch before we went downstairs to have dinner. Naturally, we all start looking around the small room, turning over couch cushions, looking under the couches, behind them, under blankets, really wherever. And finally we're like, "Are you sure you didn't leave them downstairs?" She agrees to head downstairs to look with the other two and Chris, and I go into our room, which is connected to the sitting room. And we flop down on the bottom of our bunk bed, and I proceeded to talk crap about Sarah, who I feel like is kind of ruining our chill night. Our door is open, and I'm shocked when I see a hand kind of sneak into view like it's going to grab the door frame. I say, "Hey, did you find them?" Thinking that Sarah or the other two have somehow made it back upstairs without me hearing them and having heard me talking crap for the past 5 minutes. But the hand immediately disappears out of the door frame and there's no response. I look at Chris like, what the hell is that? And she's looking back at me confused because she never saw the hand. I quickly explain what happened, and then we both jump up and head to the top of the stairs. We yell down for the others, and they yell back that they haven't found them yet. And by this point, I'm freaked out because who was up here with us? Of course we're those people, though, and we start looking around upstairs in our bedroom, the other bedroom, and in the sitting room, and we find nothing and no one. We decide not to say anything yet because I might sound insane, and also, could someone have gotten downstairs so fast without us hearing them? When we get downstairs, Sarah is super upset and crying, and her cousin says, "Come on, guys, did someone take her stuff?" But Chris and I both knew that we didn't, and we say so. Sarah screams that obviously someone took them and we should just be honest, and then things get heated. I finally decide then to tell them about the hand because I feel like it might reduce the tension between us. And it does, but then everyone panics. We run around the house like maniacs looking in every closet or hiding space that the kids use and find nothing and no one. And we end up calling our camp director to come over because the situation has just devolved into chaos. When he gets there, we're all sitting huddled in the foyer, freaked out, and we explain. Wait, is it foyer or foyer? Looking for, yogurt in the couch. That'd be hilarious. Oops. Oh, here it is. Someone smushed it all inside between the cushions. Oh, good. It's still good. Lick it up. All right. Foyer. Foyer. Oh, it is foyer. I thought it was foyer. Oh, but other people say foyer. Hotel. Oh my god. Foyer. R for the English pronunciation. Oh. I don't know. These guys said foyer. 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 Foo-foo, what's up? Still have nightmares of spiders coming out of a pimple. Ew. That's a very specific dream. It sounds pretty gross, though. Just like a bunch of like baby spiders like being born on your skin. It's pretty creepy. Was that in an R.L. Stine book? When he gets there, we're all sitting huddled in the foyer, freaked out, and we explain what we can. He just doesn't seem convinced that someone was in the house and threatens to call the cops if one of us doesn't give Sarah back her things. Well, none of us fesses up, so we call the cops, and they come over and search the property and take our statements. It seems so dumb as we repeat our stories, but we didn't have much to go off of but a feeling. They do write a report for stolen property, and that makes Sarah feel at least a little better. And with the house secure, everyone leaves except us 4 camp counselors who live there. So funny, I put a blanket on the couch behind me and Pradeep loves it. It's like his new sleepy spot. It's really like no different than any other, or like no different than the couch was, but for some reason just having a blanket there, he's like, okay, perfect, I'll lay on it. How many little stories are left? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 total left. Oh man, my eyes are burning up. With the house secure, everyone leaves except us 4 summer counselors who live there. We spend the night in the same room with the door barricaded, reassuring ourselves that we're being stupid and the phone and wallet will actually turn up somewhere random and we'll just laugh about it. Fast forward a few days, we've relaxed a bit and we haven't found Sarah's things like we expected, but nothing else weird has happened and we've been occupied with the kids and the job in general. The kids have all gone home at this point and it's just the 4 of us again in the house. We finish cleaning up outside, lock the gate, and head into the dining room door. We're all hungry and we want snacks, and Chris gets to the kitchen first and says, "Someone left the kitchen door open again." I mean, it's kind of weird, but kids go in and out of that door all day, so of all the doors to be open, this is the least weird. She shuts it, and I notice that the staff fridge door is also cracked open. And then who knows what possessed me, but I go, "Oh no, y'all, he's back." And we all laugh because we think this is ridiculous, and Chris grabs a broom, holds it as a weapon, and says, "Let's get him, girls." She starts to throw open the pantry door, screaming, "Where you at? And we know you're in here, show yourself." I'm following behind her laughing, but I start to inexplicably feel uneasy and nervous, and she continues her charade into the next room, throwing open 2 more closet doors, and then moves into the front room and opens that closet door. She starts another confident, "We know you're," when she stops mid-sentence and screams so loudly that the skin on my neck prickles. She then throws the broom into the closet and sprints out of the front door, leaving it open. And my heart is pounding so hard at this point, but I'm thinking she's messing with us, so I turn around and go the other way into the foyer and out the front door. I see her booking it down the street towards the coffee shop, and I'm like, okay, what is she doing? As soon as I turn back around to find the others, he's just there. An older man, looks really dirty, has hardly any teeth, and he's just grinning at me. He has his hands up and says, I didn't mean no harm," while slowly backing down the street in the other direction. It's so creepy because even though he says it like that, it doesn't seem like he means it. It's like his tone and the grin are mocking me, and I'm frozen for a second, then I sputter out, "You can't just leave." And he just says again with a goddamn grin, "I didn't mean no harm," and then turns and runs. I fumble in my pocket for my phone and dial 911, then go to follow him, but as soon as I reach the edge of the house, he's gone. Next events are kind of a blur. Sounds wild, but we really all thought that we just freaked ourselves out. No way in hell did we actually think someone was in the house. And the cops took our statements and reminded us that we needed to keep the door shut at all times no matter what. Our director apologized profusely for initially not believing us, and my parents wanted me to come back home for the remainder of the summer, but I was like, what else could happen? Chris was the one who had it worse, though. She was terrified to stay in that house, And she told me later that when she opened the door, he was just grinning at her with these sort of dead eyes, like he was waiting for her to finally find him. She said that she'll never forget his face. Now, we're still best friends at almost 30, and I can't bring up that summer to her if she's... Have you heard of the author Billy Carson? No, what the hell? What the hell is his problem? Just kidding. Oh, Cody, having read so many things, what's your favorite genre of stuff to read? And who is your favorite author, and what did they write that was so cool? Working visual effects at night with stories are the best. Yeah, oh yeah, you do that for music videos, right? Jonesy? Now, we're still best friends at almost 30, and I can't bring up that summer to her if she hasn't been drinking. And that's basically it. I think what kept me up at night after that were just the unanswered questions. Like, how long had he been in the house? Why did he randomly decide to take the phone and wallet of the one person who didn't work there? Had he listened to our private conversations, watched us get dressed and showered? How much food had he stolen that we didn't notice? And where had he gone when we were looking for him on spaghetti night? What hiding places did we miss? Was he under my bed at night or at any point during my stay? I don't know all these answers, and I know that I'll never have them, but I'm thankful our interaction wasn't worse, I guess.
Mischievous dog.
I don't know all these answers, and I know I'll never have them, but I guess I'm just thankful our interaction wasn't worse. Films mostly. Oh, cool. What films are you working on now? Dingo Biscuit, welcome to the Buttersauce Cult. You now have access to bonus content. Watching The Exorcist at 9 years old ruined me. Yeah, dude, The Exorcist was one of those movies where, like, a kid absolutely should not read that. Is this live? It is. Welcome. Favorite genre is horror, and I would have to say Goosebumps by R.L. Stine. He got me into that genre. Oh, interesting. Is that what you currently read? Like, I assume you probably read, like, more crazy horror writers at this point, right? Child's Play, Chucky. Yeah, I remember, like, I would... Oh, what the fuck was it? It was some type of... Like, you know, remember when they would do, like, email threads? That would be, like, viral email threads, or what would they call that, where if someone sent you an email and then you had to send it to chain mail or whatever. And I just recall, like, my mom would, like, show me the emails that she would get, because some of them would be, like, just funny ones that she would get from, like, family members and stuff. But I vaguely recall, like, doing this one where it was like we had to look for, like, Where's Waldo type thing. And then all of a sudden the face from, like, The Exorcist just, like, popped up with a loud noise, and I, like... Oh, no, dude, you know what it was? Or, you know, I don't remember. There was just one experience I vaguely recall when I was younger, and I was with my mom, and it was a jump scare. It was, like, my first experience with, like, a full-on jump scare. And I fucking, like... I think she already knew what happened, but, like, I... like, fell backwards in the computer chair, like, back over the chair, and, like, slammed my back down into the ground, like, screaming from what I saw. And it was just, like, I was just, like, screaming my head off, scared for whatever reason. I don't even, it's just so stupid. My mom was, like, in this, like, weird mix of, like, trying to, like, console me, but, like, laughing really fucking hard. I don't know. It's stupid. Oh, the maze game. Yeah, was that what that was? Dude, yeah, what the fuck was that? Yeah, you had to, like, connect the thing or, like, find the maze, and... I don't even know, dude. That messed me up hard. I'd, like, you know, even to this day, I'm like, is there going to be something that jumps out? Is there going to be something that jumps out? She should have videotaped it. That would have been hilarious. The country car video. Yeah, wasn't that a commercial? Wasn't that country car video like a commercial where it was like... Why was that so scary? Because if you go back and watch it, I don't even know. It was like a zombie who was like, rah, you know? It's just like the stupidest thing ever. What's up, Navy? How you doing? Andy Barkley, what he had to go through in the movie, it's not only... It's a horrific, scary, and horrible. It's more sad because Chucky gave him PTSD and it took away his childhood. That would be tough. Oh yeah, was that E-Bombs World? Man. I wonder if E-Bombs World still exists. E-Bombs World still exists as a website. That's crazy. What's spicy? Oh, yuck. It's a frog eating another frog's butt. That's crazy that E-Bombs World still exists. Okay. Did you ever play the PT demo? It was scary. Yeah, I don't think I ever played it, but I remember my roommate played it, and I would like watch him, and it looked terrifying. Sad that that game never got turned into a full game, because that probably would have been like, hypothetically, the greatest horror game of all time, probably. Did you ever take the MBT? Oh, I did not. No, sorry. The Space Jam website still exists? Does it really? Let's look. Spacejam.com. Now playing in theaters. Perfect. Oh, and it just goes to... Oh, it's for Space Jam too. That's funny. I live in a very rural area in Tennessee, and this happened either in the summer of '92 or '93, so I was a preteen, and I can still see this in my mind like it happened yesterday. Like I said before, a rural area in Tennessee where we used to have some serious issues with people dumping unwanted, worn-out items and garbage down on our beautiful hillsides and ravines. At that time, it was common to find illegal dumping sites everywhere because there was no bulk pickup offered by our one waste disposal monopoly. And in this part of the state, the economic disparity is obvious. You have some of the poorest people and some multiple mansion and vacation home folks. My family fell somewhere in the upper middle class. Thinking Titanic, we would be in either the lowest rung of first class or the very top of second class. Unfortunately, the majority would be in steerage or the coal bunker. What? Dead Space. Yeah, the remake was pretty cool. I don't know, I feel like it needed something else. How am I doing? I'm doing good. Mr. Ballin is your neighbor? That's fucking sweet. Tell him to collaborate with Let's Read. I'll do all the research for him and write up the script. And it will be pristine, exactly how he writes it. You're working on an Amazon Plus show, Terminal List Dark Wolf. Really? Let's look that up. Terminal List Dark Wolf. Oh, is it like a military thing? Kind of like Mark Wahlberg. Oh, is what's his name in it? Is that Chris Pratt? That is Chris Pratt. Cool. So you got to do like visuals for it, like the gore effects or like the explosions or something? What's your favorite horror games series? I really love the Outlast. Those Outlast ones are crazy. I remember my old roommate would like speed run those. Like with no camera and stuff. If you and Mr. Ballin collaborated, it'd be the greatest collaboration ever. I think it would be sick, yeah. Like even if I just did like him read a story on my channel, or you know, I narrate a part of the story on his video, which like I said, the way that I would, because I know he's much bigger than me now, so like the way that I would provide him value is that like I would, you know, look up a story and write an entire script that like fits something of his style, obviously for free, and then, you know, allow him to kind of oversee it, and then just like me participate in a part, and then hopefully like that would generate people to over to the podcast and stuff. My round night now is painting out the crew and director. Oh, okay, that's funny. Yeah, all the times that they accidentally had someone pooping in the background. That's honestly one of my favorite things to do in movies is like, whenever you're watching movies, like find like continuity errors and that kind of thing. Because I think there was, I was watching The Boys, and there's like this one dude when they go to TruthCon or whatever it is, like in the earlier part of the season 4, and there's like this dude who looks like a fucking like a dwarf, you know, from Lord of the Rings, in the background or whatever, like as a guy like looking for items, but he's in every cut. Like he's buying clothes in the one, and then he's like walking with somebody in the other one, and then he's, you know, behind them from a different angle. So it's just, I don't know if he did that on purpose, but he's like literally the most noticeable person you could ever see in a background. And I guess he's just maybe he's going to be a soup later on, but he just seems to like teleport from place to place and all of it. You haven't seen the 4th season? All right, I won't ruin it for you, but yeah. Lend him your voice. They haven't gotten offers for voice acting for lots of video game modes. Yeah, I mean, it's more just about like, you would have to find an agent to give you those opportunities, and then are you available to go do that? Which I would make it happen. It's just I tried a few different avenues and whatnot, and I don't know how to make it happen. Mr. Ballin just not into you. Yeah, man, I'm just talking shit. I don't know why people come into the chat and fucking say less yapping, more reading. Like, go watch a video or something. You don't have to be a nothing. Unfortunately, the majority would be in steerage or the coal bunker. Well, it was August in Tennessee, aka sun-scorching heat and enough humidity to make it slightly uncomfortable to breathe. Many describe it as the swamp-ass capital. Well, it's just strange, like people like say dickheaded comments like that, but then they're like also want you to entertain them. It's like, go fuck yourself. Like literally just go fuck yourself if you're gonna be an asshole. Tell me not to yap, but continue to entertain you like a monkey. Like, fuck you. Fucking little, just nothing. Just fucking doing nothing. Many describe it as the swamp-ass capital of the state. Anyway, we had just had an extraordinarily rare murder in our county. It was all that anyone was talking about, and it was all you heard in our churches and beauty salons. The victim was largely unknown, a woman in her early 30s and nowhere near wealthy. I didn't know her. The victim was largely unknown, a woman in her early 30s and nowhere near wealthy. I didn't know her, nor did anyone. She had just moved here less than a year ago and kept to herself and had not been reported missing. Then just before our summer break came to an end, this lady was found at the base of a steep incline, deep in one of our densely wooded areas by some folks out for a nature hike. And there she was found, at the base of a large illegal dump on a winding dirt road that was barely wide enough for one vehicle. If you met another car, one would have to pull over so far that you were almost off the road entirely. If you ever met another car, one would have to pull over so far you were almost off the road entirely. Even creepier, the road was named Bone Road. Yeah. When she was found, she had lost everything from the neck up, but both her upper and lower areas were recovered, and her killer had not been caught. So my mom was born and raised here and was of a strong yet goofy stock. She had always been my best buddy, even when dropping the hammer on my brother and me, and she was loved by every student that she had ever taught. Our friends adored my goofy mama and often telling me how lucky I was to have her. My dad was a pharmacist in our area, smarter than most, and happy to go fill a lost or forgotten prescription even late into the night. My dad isn't from here, but is very well known because of his job. Everyone knows my mama because she and most of our huge family have ever... My dad isn't from here, but is very well known because of his job. Everyone knows my mama because she and most of our huge family have been here since our ancestors settled here in the 1800s. The rest of her family lived in Middle Tennessee. On that day in August, we have been in a family reunion picnic at the beautiful naturally made lake that we live near. Suddenly, a scattered thunderstorm had popped up and brought our get-together to an end. It was just me and my mom, but on the ride home, we decided that we were Sherlock Holmes and Watson. We wanted to see the crime scene. I know, brilliant. My dad was at work and my brother was with a friend, and this was 92 or 93, so no GPS, Alexa, Siri, or Google Earth, not even MapQuest. My dad was our school board and had been... My dad was on our school board and had been given a highly detailed map of our entire county. Since neither of us knew how to reach Bone Road, it was agreed that the map would be our guide. We went home, grabbed the map, and set out like we were Magellan, and we eventually found the place and headed to the spot. Being the ignorant rubberneckers that we were, we just planned to drive past this stupid dump site. I can't explain how creepy this place was, though. A murder dump in the middle of BFE, on a road that started with blacktop, transitioned to gravel, and then good old dirt. It was mid-afternoon, but the sudden rain on the August ground made the area steamy. Literal steam was emanating from the road, the fields, the woods, and everywhere, and that just added to the thrill of our folly. And as we approached the location, there was a blind curve, making it impossible to see the place until we were right up on it. When we rounded that corner, we saw that we weren't alone. A very dirty man had his very dirty truck pulled over at the dump just far enough to allow us to pass. Sure, Joe Dirt could have been just another looky-loo like us, but he gave off a creepy vibe. Just standing by his truck, looking down into the dump site, it wasn't a sheriff's officer, and we know all our local authorities and they had cleared the location a day or so before. Anyone could access the area. And as we squeezed past his truck, he was standing on the passenger side of our car. I'm 12 or 13, I can't drive, so he was on my side as we passed, so close to him that I could see his 2 teeth clear as day. He just smiled in his uber creeptastic, almost leering way, not nice and not friendly. We got past and thanked the Lord that Mr. Two-Tooth hadn't followed us, and we agreed that we could reach the end of Bone Road and just get the hell out of there. Oh, you know there's a but. how long do I do this? Usually goes for like another hour or so. Like 3 hours, typical stream. Oh, you know there's a but. We reached the end of Bone Road, ending at a field, and Bone Road was a dead end, no pun intended. My mom said the words that I had been screaming in my head. Oh, F. We had no choice. We had to do a 5-point turn to go back from where we came. Oh, I bet he's gone now, my mom's feeble attempt to soothe us both. And guess what? He was still there, still smiling his huge two-toothed smile. And now as my adult self reflected on this, he could have come after us, knowing that we would be cornered, but neither of us have ever been accused of being too rational. We made it out unscathed, of course, and my dad hit the roof when he heard the tapestry of idiocy our afternoon adventure was. But you know there's always a but. Days later, our newspaper heralded the good news, that murderer was caught. The woman had been killed by a boyfriend turned stalker. She had moved here from a town about 45 minutes away to get away from him, but he had found her. He just drove around with her body in his truck before happening upon this dump site. Happily ever after? Not quite. And as we stared down at this guy's mugshot, it was real. Mr. Two-Tooth was her killer. But we never told my dad that part. Mr. Two-Tooth was convicted of first-degree murder and abuse of a corpse. He'll die in the state prison system serving life with no parole. Still, Mom and I promised that we would never be so dumb again, and we still have weird adventures, but not too freaky. Remote murder dump sites on unknown. Landon, thank you for the 5. So love your content, keep up the great work. Thank you, thank you. Appreciate that. We still have weird adventures, but not too freaky. No, whoops. We still have weird adventures, but not to freaky remote murder dump sites on unknown terrain and with no one knowing where we are. We really could have met our literal dead end. It's an odd thing, knowing that you had been face to face with a brutal murderer, not once, but twice. Well, I did have a super too close to call run-in with another murderer, but that'll have to be another post for another day. Oh, God. It's an odd thing, knowing that you had been face to face with a brutal murderer, not once, but twice. What's the story count? That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We got a lot more here, but I feel like we've been going for a while. Have you played ARGs? If so, what's your favorites? ARGs. Not really. Don't people like solve those or whatever? Babes, do you want to be a mod? Do you think it's healthy to drink a Celsius Energy before workout? Yeah, I usually drink caffeine before my workout, and like caffeine, I heard like 30 minutes before working out can help kind of like increase your central nervous system type vibe. So this actually happened about 2 hours ago. I, a 26-year-old female, and my boyfriend, 36 years old, decided to go to the store to get oil. We have to go out 45 minutes just to get this out. We have to go. Let me just put this into... I used to feel sluggish and walk slowly every day, but after I started drinking vitamins and energy drinks, I stopped feeling that way. It bothers me I could be more dependent on energy drinks, though. I mean, that might be the case. But it is what it is. As long as you get some good sleep. We had to drive 45 minutes to a European store located in a rough part of the city, but it's the only place that carries the exact foods I grew up with. My family and I are from Ukraine, but we now live in the US. It's challenging to find authentic stores that have exactly what we used to eat, and this is the only place I've found that even has the same brands. And as we're driving, we were on a 3-lane road and needed to get into one of those midsection U-turn lanes. We moved into our left turn lane, and suddenly, a black car sped from the far right lane, cutting through the middle lane and nearly hit us as it forced its way into our lane. My boyfriend and I were shocked, and then the car stopped at a green light meant for the U-turn. My boyfriend gently honked twice just in case they were distracted to let them know that it was their turn to go. They moved forward, and we turned into the parking lot directly to our right, heading to the store we needed. However, the car had just cut us off and then swerved across 2 more lanes and drove onto the sidewalk, entering the same parking lot and started tailgating us aggressively while laying on the horn. My boyfriend decided to drive a bit further into the lot rather than parking directly in front of the store. At that moment, I realized that his car camera, which usually records the front and back while driving, wasn't on. I tapped it, thinking that it would start recording, but it didn't. We realized that it had somehow disconnected from the car. As my boyfriend was trying to plug it back in, the black car. Have you watched the movie called The Last Screenwriter? I have not. What's that about? Yeah, the store didn't have parrot flakes. I made it. Hello, y'all. Joel, what story we're on? We're on story... What story are we on? 6? Of 11, I think? It's a movie written entirely by ChatGPT, and it's about an AI taking place of humans as superior screenwriter. Shockingly good, kind of scary. Oh, wow. Wonder how hard it was to get it to, like, write effectively. I genuinely thought, like, season 4 of The Boys was written by AI, because Jesus Christ, dude. You get to work on weekends? Yep. You do. As my boyfriend was trying to plug it back in, the black car pulled up next to us. I saw 3 young men, probably around 18 to 20 years old, inside. They were all African American, and the driver rolled down his window and started reaching for something, and I panicked, screaming at my boyfriend, "Just drive, go, go." He slammed on the gas, and we sped off with the black car still following us. My boyfriend suddenly started doing donuts in the parking lot, trying to shake off, while I was screaming, "Oh my God, call the police, I need to call the police." And I managed to dial 911 just as my boyfriend finished the last donut and began driving out of the lot. The black car continued chasing us until we got about 3 to 4 blocks away. Get off my lawn. Oh, Shell's here too? I didn't even know Shell was here. What's up, dog? Read this comment. Can watch scary videos in a stream. It depends. I feel like I started really late. Yeah, I don't know if they were doing donuts in the parking lot to get away from them or something. But yeah, babes, if you have any questions on how to, like, I don't know, just if people are being, I mean, most of the time, most people are good, but sometimes you just get people who are really negative, and I would rather, like, have a mod here to actually monitor stuff like that. Did I take the personalities test? I did not, no. How long would it take? We could do it right now, after this story. So Fry, I don't know, I think Fry went left. I don't see him here. I mean, people that are mods, like, continue to be mods, you know. It's just, sometimes it seems like most people are just, like, not available. Can you cheat on your permits exam? I don't think so. I think you kind of have to know it. Know your stuff. The black car continued chasing us until we got about 3 to 4 blocks away from a police station. The 911 operator asked where we were, and in my panic, I stuttered, trying to describe our location. My boyfriend, who used to drive for Uber and knows the streets well, shouted out the road as we were passing. The black car kept following us until they probably realized that we were headed, and The black car kept following us until they probably realized where we were headed and suddenly swerved off onto a random road. At some point, the call disconnected, but the officer called me right back and stayed on the line with us until we arrived at the station. We explained what happened, and the officer was kind, and he even offered to escort us back to the store in case those guys were still around. We showed him the skid marks in the lot, and he joked about them, and everything was all good. He did some paperwork while we were quickly grabbing the sunflower oil that I wanted, and my boyfriend tried some authentic Slavic ice cream for the first time, which he agreed was much better than American ice cream. We decided to cut our day short and thank that officer and went home. My boyfriend said that he was amazed at how quickly I made the right decisions and was surprised that I was even... My boyfriend said that he was amazed at how quickly I made the right decisions and was surprised I even called the police because he knows I have a history of being assaulted by 2 on-duty officers 4 years ago, which has left me terrified of calling or speaking to the police. But in that moment, I was so scared of getting shot, and my only priority was to have the police there to keep my boyfriend safe if something happened to him. I was so terrified that my chest actually hurt, and I'm so happy that we're safe now. My boyfriend's now laughing and saying he can finally prove that that front-wheel drive Dodge car. My boyfriend was now laughing, saying he can finally prove that front-wheel drive Dodge cars can do great donuts. Do you watch out for seed oils in your diet? I don't really care too much about that. I mean, I feel like the research that I've heard is kind of muddied on that, on whether or not it's like truly dangerous to like your endocrine system or whatever. But I mean, you can do whatever you want for your own health. It's probably more better to just like watch your calorie intake and try to eat whole foods. And I don't know, I do use coconut oil though if I do cook things, or if you're cooking like ground beef, just using the natural fat that comes from the beef itself, or using like butter. Can I make you mod? No, I just wouldn't. We just needed a mod, and I need someone who's been here for a long time, who's, pretty chill about things and not gonna like just ban people because they don't like them or whatever. Watch your calories, eat whole foods, and don't do heroin. Yeah, usually it's a pretty good rule of thumb. What is it called again? The INFB test? Does coconut oil make things taste different? Yeah, usually when I cook with coconut oil, it like makes the eggs that I cook like taste sweeter, which sometimes can get kind of old if that's the only one you use all the time, but it's a nice change up just for flavor if you like want to try something. 16 personalities test. 16 personalities test. Free test. Take the test. Complete the test. View detailed results. Unlock your potential. You regularly make new friends. What do you guys think? Agree? I mean, I can make friends, but I don't do it too regularly, I guess. Anymore. I used to do it back in the day. Complex and novel ideas excite you more than simple and straightforward ones. Yeah, I guess so. That's cool. You usually feel more persuaded by what resonates emotionally with you than factual arguments. Disagree. Your living and working spaces are clean and organized. Sort of disagree on that. You usually stay calm even under pressure. Yeah, I guess so. Except when people are mean to me. You find the idea of networking and promoting yourself to strangers very daunting. Yeah, kind of. You prioritize and plan tasks effectively, often completing them well before deadline. Mega disagree. People's stories and emotions speak louder to you than numbers or data. Disagree. You like to use organizing tools like schedules and lists. Disagree. Even a small mistake can cause you to doubt your overall abilities and knowledge. No, not really. You feel comfortable just walking up to someone to find interesting and striking conversation. Not really. You are not too interested in discussions about various interpretations of creative works. You are not too interested in discussions about various No, I like talking about that. You prioritize facts over people's, so we're 20% done with the test. Oh, there's Fry. This is terrible, you're doing it out loud. Well, how else am I supposed to do it? I mean, I'm going to give the same answers regardless. It's just you guys get to hear. I don't see the issue. You prioritize facts over people's feelings when determining a course of action. Yeah, for sure. 100%. You often allow the day to unfold without any schedule at all. Yeah, sometimes. You rarely worry about whether you make a good impression on people you meet. No, I do like to make them happy. You enjoy participating in team-based activities. Yeah, those are cool. You enjoy experimenting with new and untested approaches. Yeah. You prioritize being sensitive over being completely honest. Disagree. I'm going to give you a hint, though. You will be questioned the same thing, but in a different way. By who? The government? You actively seek out new experiences and knowledge areas to explore. Kind of. You're prone to worrying about things that will take a turn for the worse. Yes, sometimes. You enjoy solitary hobbies or activities more than group ones. Semi-disagree. You cannot imagine yourself writing fictional stories for a living. I disagree with that. I like stories. You favor efficiency in decisions, even if it means disregarding some emotional aspects. Yeah. You prefer to do your chores before allowing yourself to relax. No. In disagreements, you prioritize proving your point over presenting the feelings of others. Semi-agree with that. Usually wait for others to introduce themselves first at social gatherings. Yeah. Your mood can change very quickly. It's like, sort of, yes. You're not easily swayed by emotional arguments. True. You often end up doing things at the last possible moment. Hard agree on that. You enjoy debating ethical dilemmas. Yeah, I like that. Moody. I'm too moody. Who is the government? You are, Sharon. You are. You're the president. You usually prefer to be around others rather than your own. Semi-agree. You become bored or lose interest when the discussion gets highly theoretical. No, I like that. When facts and feelings conflict, you usually find yourself following your heart. Disagree. You find it challenging to maintain a consistent work or study schedule. You find it challenging to maintain a consistent work or study schedule. No, I'm pretty consistent. You rarely second guess the choices that you have made. No, I think your friends would describe you as lively and outgoing. Yeah, I'd say so. I sound irritated. Sorry, I'm just like I'm doing the autism test. You like to play with fidget spinners and scream. Yeah. You are drawn to various forms of creative expression such as writing. Yeah. You usually base your choices on objective farts rather than emotional inspiration. Yeah. No. You like to have to-do lists for each day? No. You rarely feel insecure? No. You avoid making phone calls? Not really. You enjoy exploring unfamiliar ideas and viewpoints? Yeah. Alright, 70% done. You passed the test. You can easily connect with people you have just met. Yeah, if we give enough time. If your plans are interrupted, your top priority is to get back on track as soon as possible. Not really. You are still bothered by mistakes that you made long ago. Yeah, kind of. You're not too interested in discussing theories on what the world could look like in the future. No, I like talking about that. Your emotions control you more than you control them. Not entirely. When making decisions, you focus more on how the affected people might feel on what is... Not really. What does girthy mean with a sad face? I don't know. I think we'll find out in the test. That might be my personality trait, girthy. Your personal work style is closer to spontaneous bursts of energy than organized and consistent efforts. Disagree. When someone thinks highly of you, you wonder how long it took them to feel how long it'll take them to feel disappointed in you. Not really. You would love a job that requires you to work almost alone most of the time. I guess that's what I do, honestly. But no, honestly, I like working with people. You believe that pondering abstract philosophical questions is a waste of time? No. You feel more drawn to busy, bustling atmospheres than the quiet, intimate places? Disagree. If a decision feels right to you, you often act on it without needing further proof? Nah. Alright, 90% done, guys. We're almost there. You often feel overwhelmed? No. You complete things methodically without skipping over any steps? I guess so. You prefer tasks that require you to come up with creative solutions rather than follow concrete steps? A little bit. You are more likely to rely on emotional intuition than logical reasoning to make a choice? No. You struggle with deadlines? Nope. You feel confident that things will work out for you? Yeah. Gender? Which one am I, guys? I always forget. Alright. See my results. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Speed run. I am a debater. A master debater. And I'm an ENTP with an extra T at the end. Meaning typical Chaz. Bleh. You know, maybe I did assume the Starbucks barista's gender, and now they want me dead. There's a whole lot of facts. Don't care about your feelings type questions in this quiz. Yeah, it seems like they kind of just like summed it up all with that, you know, with minor variations between. Energy. You're 56% extroverted, 89% intuitive. Intuitive individuals are very imaginative, open-minded, and curious. They value originality and focus on hidden meanings and distant possibilities. Hell yeah, dude. 83% thinking. Thinking individuals focus on objectivity, rationality, often dismissing emotions in favor of logic. They tend to see effectiveness as more important than social harmony. 60% prospecting. Prospecting individuals are very good at improvising and adapting to opportunities. They tend to be flexible nonconformists who value novelty over stability. Boop with a 936 says I have a vote for synthetic shirts if you put out some new merch. Thanks for the dedication. You're welcome, my friend. What you have a vote for synthetic shirts? What do you mean? You're the one I said I never want to fight. Wait, why are we fighting? 51% turbulent. Yeah, I feel like whenever they're like 51, like really close like that, it's like not that important. Before we move on to your profile, would you like a copy of your email results? Next. Oh. Whatever. I guess the only interesting thing here for this is the intuitive and thinking. Mortal Kombat. Okay. Oh, dash cam footage. Do they have that? Oh, they took it down. Sweet. All right. Well, we got that one, that story out of the way and that thing. So I guess I am a, what did I say it was? ENTPT. I don't know what that is. Let's ask ChatGPT. Wait. Zip. What is an personality? Here's a breakdown of your character. This often stands for extroverted, intuitive, thinking, perceiving. Okay, yeah, I guess we already went over that. The T at the end stands for turbulent. This indicates more anxious, self-critical, and sensitive approach to the A assertive variant. Turbulent individuals may be more prone to stress and worry, often setting very high standards for themselves and feeling dissatisfied when they don't meet them. They might be more concerned with how others perceive them and more affected by external feedback. I guess that's true, yeah. Fuck. Moisture wicking. Master debater. The master of all debaters. Alright. Under Armour sleeves are superior to synthetic long sleeve shirts because they hold more heat. Yeah, I always enjoy cotton the most, to be honest with you. It just feels like, I don't know, it just feels more comfy. I don't mind like the synthetic stuff, especially if you're doing like exercise or whatever, but something about cotton just feels like a lot more, like just like it feels more comfortable resting on your skin. What song do you listen to when working out? I don't know. Every time I like do a really heavy squat or deadlift, I gotta listen to Omerta by Lamb of God. Do I like Mortal Kombat? Yeah, usually every time a new Mortal Kombat comes out, I'll just like watch all like the lore videos and stuff and like all the fatalities. But I don't really like fighting games themselves other than like Super Smash Brothers, so that's kind of like my limitation on it, is I just don't really play them, but I like it. A Mortal Wombat. Yeah, and Katy Perry gets me hype in the Jimmy. Does Katy Perry even make music anymore? I remember like her and Taylor Swift were kind of on the same trajectory, but it seemed like Katy Perry kind of like dialed it back a little bit. I like Lamb of God. Yeah, I like stuff like that, but mainly just for like powerlifting, because it kind of like helps. It's like a good energy of like warrior anger, you know? Is there any members only content coming out at some point, Senor Joel? I do hope so soon. I think I was thinking something like kind of like Paranormal Cops. I think we kind of did that before, but like an entire like anthology series of like like cops type stuff, but like it's like all paranormal kind of stuff. And obviously it would be like fictional since it's bonus content, but I think that would be interesting. Karos, thank you. I got sucked into melodic death doom metal one day and never looked back. Melodic death doom, is that like ambient kind of? If you get banned, do stay banned forever, or it's more like a timeout? It depends on what's clicked. There's like options for timeout, but there's also like remove person from commenting type thing. One evening, I was out in Lacey, Washington to pick up a handgun that I had recently purchased for protection. Contrary to the pickup status both online and sent to my email, the store didn't have it in stock yet and told me to come back in another week. I lived about an hour from Lacey at the time, and when I had gotten there, even rushing hour... I lived about an hour from Lacey at the time, and when I had gotten there, evening rush hour was just beginning to become unbearable. I didn't want to drive all the way back home just yet, as it would add an additional hour to my already long commute. Side note, the car that I was driving belonged to my dad, and I was borrowing it until I had enough money saved up for a new car after my beloved Honda had broken down the previous year. I killed some time bumming around the store that I had purchased my firearm from, and then decided to drive over to the nearest coffee shop. It was a newly built cabin-style cafe with a modern twist. The barista handed me my 16-ounce dirty chai, and I walked back out to my car. I then drove to a gas station around the corner, still trying to kill time until traffic thinned out. The car didn't need gas, so I pulled into a parking spot right at the corner of the four-way street, blocked the gas... Fucking shot. Alright, I'm just going to throw it in the chat BBC again just to fix the grammar. What's your guys' favorite website? Or which websites do you like visit every day? Dirty chai is a superior beverage. I don't think I've ever had one. Pornhub. Come on, Pornhub is amateur. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, incognito. That's kind of the premise of Murdered Soul Suspect. Ex-thug turned defective, died and became a ghost with the help of... Oh yeah, I do remember when that came out. I feel like that game didn't get as much love as it should have. Best Gore. I don't think... Does Best Gore still exist as a website? I don't think I would enjoy that, honestly. Like going to a gore website to look at stuff like that. Like, it's, I don't know, it just makes me so uncomfortable for some, well, not for some reason, like I know why that is, but some people enjoy looking at the like crazy, insane shit, but I just feel sick when I look at it. What's my Cornhub username? Do they have logins? Can you actually, I guess it would make sense, you log in and then you get like the premium pass. Jorking your meat all day long. You had to buy the battle pass. How do people just sit and watch gore? I don't know, dude. Maybe there's something just, maybe their minds are like connected to like like a weird warrior class, you know what I mean? Kind of like how in ant, you know how like ants or like bugs, sometimes they have a warrior class that's like made to kill and defend and stuff, and maybe their brains are just like more geared towards like killing in a sort of primal sense. And so like looking at that makes them feel nothing, or like some type of degree of entertainment, because I imagine like some sort of evolutionary adaptations that people could have to like be more comfortable with like being a warrior class would be to like almost enjoy the violence, you know. And maybe that's sort of like built into people's DNA in a weird way, not like justifying it or anything, because it is quite strange, but you know, sometimes you try to wonder psychologically why things happen the way they do. Brittany, no worries, Brittany, good to see you. I don't think it's entertainment, but it's not really terrible either, depending on what it is. Yeah, sometimes I thankfully don't come across that on Instagram as much as I did, but I don't know, just like seeing the weird, whenever you like don't even expect it, and then just like somebody getting squished in a factory, you're just like, Jesus Christ, thank you Instagram for just throwing that on me. Well, I'm not justifying it, but I mean, like, I'm just trying to figure out it. Like, you know, in the same way that there's serial killers, like certain serial killers might be like either they had a brain injury or some type of traumatic experience where like they saw something when they were young and it activated something in their brain that they like have been wanting to get back to ever since or whatever. And then it just turns them into like people that operate with, you know, outside of societal norms. And I think like rather than trying to just like demonize them or whatever, which is, it's still, there's punishments for those, for like certain activities that are outside of the accepted human norm or like societal norm, since it changes between societies. But you know, it's still best to like understand how their brain works in a weird way, you know. Yeah, trauma, curiosity and stuff like that. Funky Town. I don't remember that. There's a memory stick out there with 20k games from Mortal Kombat to Mario World you can plug into a smart TV and play. Yeah, I've seen like those advertised like all, and I never know if they're just like scams or what, but you always see like random stuff like that. Is that something you can just like get on Amazon, or is it something you, because I remember seeing stuff like that advertised on Instagram, but you never like, you know, without like somebody, like if you don't have a friend, like say, I feel like the only way for me to buy something like that is to like go to a friend's place and be like, this is amazing, where do you get it? And then, you know, knowing that it works, you can actually get it. Otherwise you get shipped some, you know, Chinese crap that just is a big lie. How's Pradeep? He's good. He's curled up in a ball way behind me. Download Mario emulators on your phone. Maybe for Android or something. I know. Probably not for iPhone. Isn't it kind of weird that there's only like, well, I guess there's Android, iPhone, and then whatever the fuck Chinese shit there is. Is there anything beyond that? Cats are so cool and awesome. Yeah, dude. Hell yeah. The car didn't need gas, so I pulled into a parking spot right at the corner of the four-way intersection where the gas station was located. I turned off the engine, stepped outside, and lit a cigarette, leaning against the driver's side door to avoid stinking up the interior. The weather was overcast and drizzly, but not overly cold. It was dusk, and most of the daylight had faded. The stoplights at the intersection were diffused by the late autumn mist, and I watched them flicker from green to yellow to red and black again as the traffic moved in sync with their signals. Zoned out by the lights and generally lost in thought while enjoying my coffee and smoke, I didn't notice the man walking toward me until he was already halfway across the street. He was a white guy of average height and strawberry blonde hair, perhaps in his mid-20s. He definitely hadn't changed his clothes in a while and carried a backpack that I assume held the few belongings that he had. He didn't smell, but he looked raggedy and unkempt. My immediate thought was that drugs were likely part of his lifestyle. I didn't want to jump to conclusions, but I'm always cautious, having grown up in the suburbs of Seattle. The man finished crossing the street and awkwardly limped toward my car, maintaining eye contact and a strained grin. I locked my car out of caution but remained outside, smoking casually. Normally, I'm a social person, but I don't go out of my way to be unpleasant either. He approached me and stood about 10 feet away when he said hello and asked if I had a light. I hesitated, but saw no harm in fulfilling this very simple request. Taking 2 steps forward, I lit a cigarette, which he held out toward me. Peter. You have 6 huskies. I'm training for the Iditarod Trail. Really? That's crazy. So you do dog sled racing, right? That's insane. Like really, really cool. But it sounds very scary. Taking 2 steps forward, I lit a cigarette, which he held out toward me as he approached. He attempted to make small talk, weaving in hints that he had just gotten off the bus and still needed to go another block down the road. Somewhere in his poorly crafted sob story, he stopped mid-sentence, kind of like a bad actor, and pretended to be struck by an epiphany. Hey, would you mind just dropping me off down the road? It's not very far. I apologized and said I couldn't help because it was my dad's car, not mine, and I didn't feel comfortable driving it without his permission. A stupid but plausible excuse that I came up with on the spot. Mr. Unkempt did not like my answer, and his smile immediately turned tense and flatlined. Clearly upset, he became more insistent. But it's just down the road, he whined. My leg is killing me. It wouldn't even be far for you. I'll give you a cigarette. His persistence and sudden burst of hostility made my hair stand on end, and I firmly said, No, I'm sorry. I can't help you. It's my dad's car, and he's got set rules, all right? With 10 years of hospitality experience under my belt, I immediately offered him alternative ideas for how he could get to where he needed to be. I even suggested that maybe someone inside the gas station could help him out or call him a ride. Each word I said made him increasingly irate, and he became Wait, live in San Diego, but I have 6 huskies. Oh wait, did you say you're doing the Oh wait, you're not doing it? You're just training them just for fun? The most calm interaction in Seattle. Yeah, that place seems like a hellhole. A girl where he heard her mom yell her name from downstairs. I don't think I've heard that one. She said, dinner's ready. And guess what? Dinner was ready. But it was liver and onions. Oh, just training. That's cool. That's interesting. Each word I said made him increasingly irate, and he began curling his fingers into fists, not in a threatening way, but like a toddler about to scream bloody murder for not getting their way. He seemed to pause and size me up for a very fleeting moment. I'm small and not at all intimidating physically, so I told him that I hoped he made him... Oh, that's crazy. He literally just, was about to get a gun for safety, and then all of a sudden gets approached. Don't do that Joker voice.
Why so serious? Ruff, ruff, ruff. Joker the dog, ruff. We poop on the Batman's shoes.
I'm small and not at all intimidating physically, so I told him that I hoped he made it home safe, quickly unlocked my car, jumped in and locked myself inside. When I looked up from locking the car door, I saw him speed walking back across the street, heading in the direction that he originally come from. No limp, no awkward walk whatsoever, no distress or pain even showing slightly, just the normal speed walk of a physically well person, a very rage-filled person. I know I had dodged a bullet there, and I felt pretty dumb for hanging around the city after dark alone, and at this point I didn't care about traffic anymore, so I started the engine and hightailed it home in what ended up being an hour and 45-minute drive. But this time the traffic was 100% worth the inconvenience. And PSA, if you haven't heard it enough already, be careful who you give your attention to, especially when you're alone. Stay aware at all times and err on the side of caution, even when strangers seem harmless at first. Northern Lights in the Netherlands. Hell yeah, that's sweet. Chicago has more people in it than some countries do. That is kind of wild.
Sounds like the Grinch. Ah, the fucking Grinch. The Joker Grinch.
The Drench. What gun do I have? I have a snub nose. And I have a 1911. Have you played Brawlhalla yet? I have a huge Smash fans, but I always think Brawlhalla better. And wasn't there like a game? Maybe there was like a mod for Brawlhalla, but it was almost like a 2D Smash Brothers, but not like 3D animations. Do I have my permit? I do. Yep. Would you like to see them? You want a blunderbuss? That'd be cool. I guess that's technically, isn't that the same as what's that called? Front loader. What the hell is that called? I feel dumb. Barrel loader. Why am I saying this weird? Gun. No, not speed loader. What the fuck am I thinking? Yeah, kind of like a musket, but muzzle loader. There you go. Thank you. Sorry. Yeah, you might experience the blunderbuss experience by going somewhere and trying a muzzle loader. I know people, they do that, but it's more just like a hobby kind of thing. But that shit will blow something up. It's like a cannon. You got a couple of guns. Is it pink? It might be pink, actually. Well, I have two pistols. Dual wield. So today, as I was going out for coffee, I decided to check out a new cafe that just opened. As I approached the door, I was surprised and happy to see an ex-girlfriend of mine from when I was a kid. We stared at each other for a second, and then I saw her mumble something before coming toward me. I went in for a hug, and after we greeted, she simply asked, "Do you remember what you did to me?" And I was baffled. We had dated many years ago and never had any issues of any kind. No major fights, no abuse, no toxicity. In fact, she left me because I wouldn't commit, but we remained on good terms for a while afterward, still hanging out until she found a job abroad and left. At first, I was scared out of my mind and immediately sensed something very strange. I asked her to be more specific, but she wasn't forthcoming, and after a little chit-chat, she told me that she was referring to the time when my friend and I cleansed her house. It then came back to me at the time, we were some stupid, edgy, semi-goth kids who were really into weird and otherworldly stuff. And after she complained about her house feeling strange, a friend from our group offered to perform a cleansing ritual, which he did while we were basically half drunk. According to her, when she talked about this years later with other people, things started to go wrong. She began to feel a presence around the house, experienced drops in temperature, all that eerie stuff. She was vague, but apparently she believes some kind of ghost is now haunting her house, something that was unleashed. Unleashed. You have a grandfather, he's 45, and his hunting rifles. Never shot the hunting rifles, though. Yeah, you should have him take you out and show you how to do it. You might like it. Just be sure to keep it real tight to that there shoulder of yours. She was vague, but apparently she believes some kind of ghost is now haunting her house, something that was unleashed after the ritual and started manifesting after she mentioned it to her friends. Nothing happened in years prior. She eventually returned to England, but promptly came back here to escape from an abusive fiancé. At that point, I was really nervous and made an excuse to leave, and she hugged me, said there is now only Christ in her heart, and suggested that we should really have a cup of coffee. And this gave me a really weird vibe, like something from a cult. I basically ran away, terrified. Keep in mind, we split on some very good terms. She looked after my dog while I was in England. As a masseuse, she took care of my back for... Fuck me. As a masseuse, she took care of my bad back for months. She even introduced me to her new boyfriend, and we went out for dinner a couple of times as a group. There's no way that she could have held my... Man, dang it. Dingo. There's no way that she could have held any animosity toward me. In fact, once she was abroad, she even offered to help me find a job in the city where she was living. And this was not a prank to get me back. Damn it, I keep reading this weird. This was not a prank to get back at me. And more than that, her eyes. She was once the light of the room, always laughing and cracking jokes. But the person I saw today was sad, with very still eyes, not smiling or anything, like a completely different person. Samuel Rusden with the 10 New Zealand. I bet some Americans take the Second Amendment for granted. Here in New Zealand, we just have to make sure we stay on the phone to the cops while the home invader beats us to death. Yeah, I mean, it is sad. I mean, it's like, it just sucks. It's like, what are you supposed to do? Like, all you can really do, I guess, is learn some type of self-defense maneuvers and shit. But it's just dumb to, like, de-arm your citizenry from, like, self-defense concepts, you know what I mean? My earliest memory of a night. But thank you for the 10, Sam. I appreciate you. do the same armed or not. Yeah, but it's like way easier to defend yourself with a fucking handheld blunderbuss than your karate hands, you know what I mean? My earliest memory of a nightmare turned out to be a real event. Wait, did I already read this one? I found out my neighbor. Terrifying awareness. Wait. Oh, I guess not. I thought this was the one where, yeah, watching the being showered. Or watching while showering. You can get a gun license, but it's not a right to own a firearm. Yeah, do you do that? Or, like, for home, at least home defense or whatever? I don't know. It's just better to be prepared than not prepared, you know? That one fucking time that you find yourself in this situation, you're like, damn, wish I had like some sort of modern piece of technology that could explode into that person and I could get away. You can throw firecrackers at them. I guess that would be a good thing. Like, you could throw some down a hallway and like confuse an intruder or something, think they're being shot at, and maybe they'll run away. Could I please twerk for you? Yeah. Yeah, you could just set up Home Alone traps. What's up, Gio? Yeah, play police siren. That would actually that would be interesting. But I really don't think it sucks that people have to like think that far ahead to like bypass laws just to defend themselves. My earliest memory of a nightmare turned out to be a real event. So that title sounds like a no-sleep story, and that's the first thing I thought when I first found this out about 2 months ago. I've been busy dealing with the wake of a family tragedy since then, but now that things are returning to the new normal, I figured it's a good time to share this, and I'm sorry in advance for any formatting issues here. Now first, I'll describe the nightmare. It's a very short dream. Like I said, it's a very clear memory just because of how scary it was. I was about 4 or 5 years old, perhaps 6 at the most, and my twin brother and I had a bunk bed in a room at the furthest end of the house that we grew up in. The nightmare had me in my bed looking out the window to see a red sky, the kind that gets in the... Brittany with the 2 says, love you, Joel, and all my fellow insomniac zombies. Thank you, Brittany. It's good to see you. I'm glad you can make it back. Saw your first shooting star last night. That's cool. It's a pretty fascinating thing. I remember when I was like 18 seeing a shooting star go over a mountain that was like green. You know, it was like really, really bright and like really green. That was pretty sick. The nightmare had me in my bed looking out the window to see a red sky. The kind it gets in the early dawn hours before sunrise, but light still colors the sky. And the next and only other thing I remember in this nightmare is that a man with crazy blue-colored eyes and a bald head appears at the window and stares right at me. The nightmare ends there, but I remember just how much I screamed and screamed about it. I don't know where my brother was at the time when I woke up screaming, and the only thing I can remember from when I woke up was having my mom come and get me and calm me down as she took me to her bedroom down the hall. I only remember that so well... So wheel. Father said the best one, but maybe I'll ask. Okay, I'm gonna copy that into the chat GPT to fix the grammar again. Fix this grammar, please. Hey, Timothy Boone Von Ochsey. Thank you for the big 22. Appreciate you. Did it get really dark where you were during the eclipse? You know, it was tough. Like during the eclipse, it was very cloudy. So like, even though it did definitely, I remember like driving through town, and there was sort of like an overcast, like a very dark overcast, but you just didn't really get that like full sort of like juxtaposition between like a bright sunny sky and then an eclipse, the same way you would if it wasn't, you know, cloudy out. But Timothy, thank you again for the big 22. Appreciate you. An infected virus. Thank you for the gifter to Brittany Grace. Welcome, Brittany. Backseat taxi, what's up? Do you fuck with grilled cheese? Hell yeah, dude. I remember that event so well because I wondered where my dad was at the time. Now fast forward to this May, and my father is in a hospital in Colombia, the country. Now fast forward to this May, and my father is in a hospital in Colombia, the country where he lives. My twin brother, our older sister, and I are staying in a hotel about a 5-minute walk from the hospital where he's in the ICU. One night, after a long day of being there for Dad and the extended family, my siblings and I return to the hotel, sit together to have a couple of beers, and try to relax after everything. We start discussing things, just trying to unwind, and somehow the topic of nightmares and dreams comes up. I bring up the story above, and without missing a beat, my sister explains that it really happened, that some guy really did look through my window, and she remembers the whole thing. My sister, who is 5 years older than my brother and I, which would make her 9 or 10 years old at the time, had a bedroom adjacent to the room my brother and I shared. Her room faced our front lawn and the street, while our room faced the neighbor's house in their driveway, with a very low fence between the two houses. While she didn't go into too much detail about the days before this nightmare/event, she said that she had been followed by a bald man in a truck as she rode her bike home with some friends a couple of times before. The day immediately before this nightmare was no different, but this time the man actually drove right past the house. At the time, she was a latchkey kid since my brother and I had to attend a green meteors are magnesium. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, those were landing. That's probably what I've been consuming for a while now. Remind me after this, I'm going to go take some of said magnesium. I've just been like shaving it off that meteorite ever since. Slurping it up. Where did butter socks originate? I'm not sure. I don't think anyone knows. It's the mysteries of the cult. You're gonna have to figure it out yourself. Reptile, take care, dude. At the time, she was a latchkey kid since my brother and I had to attend a special school about 45 minutes away from our hometown for a speech impediment that many twins have, and my mom had to pick us up rather than be home for my sister's after school. However, she was never home alone for more than an hour. That afternoon and evening were pretty normal as she remembers it. My dad came home from his job. He worked part-time as a cop in a local hardware store, and we all had dinner, did homework, played, and did the usual family things before bed. That night, at around 12 to 1 a.m., this bald-headed man parked the street. Welcome back, Luke. When was the eclipse? I feel like it was like a couple months ago, or like in the spring or something. Take the T test. What's that? Testosterone? That night, at around 12 to 1 a.m., this bald-headed man parked down the street at a small industrial park, walked up to our house, and tried to get in through my sister's window, which woke her up. She screamed when she saw the man nearly opening the window as it wasn't locked. My dad stormed in and tried to shove the guy out or hit him with his nightstick, and my sister doesn't remember exactly, which caused the man to run off. But he only stayed away for a short time before returning to try to get in through the window in my room. He tried opening the window, but it was locked because my mom didn't want my brother and me to open it, as our bed was right up against it. My sister said I screamed as loud as I could, and my mom came in to get my brother and me while my dad ran out the front door to chase the guy, but to no avail, as the man fled through our backyard. Our backyard was situated against a small rail yard, part of the aforementioned industrial park. Between our small neighborhood and that rail yard was a dense patch of trees. Between our small neighborhood and that rail yard was a dense patch of trees that always made the backyards very dark, so my dad didn't want to risk being attacked there. And instead he went back inside and called the police, and then called our elderly neighbor to make sure that they were okay while our mom took care of us kids. This is all my sister could remember from that night herself, as this happened a very long time ago. Neither of us can recall anything else after that, and the story sort of just stops there. Unfortunately, my father passed away in the hospital, so we can't ask him about it. And given everything that's happened, none of us had thought about asking... Given everything that's happened, none of us had thought to ask our mom yet, but maybe I'll ask her soon. Wake me up when September ends. I remember like watching that music video like every cocksucking day during like 9th grade, when I would have to like wake up and go to school. Like my parents would be gone and I'm like up and I gotta fucking get ready and shit, and I was just so mad about like going to school and all the other stupid responsibilities, and like just associating that song every fucking morning on MTV with like going to school. Like I didn't even like the underlying like story of like the kid who was going off to fight in like a war for his like, you know, high school sweetheart, and she was sad he was going to die and he was in like a PTSD, you know, nightmare situation. None of that registered in my brain, you know, even when I was like 14. I just like didn't care. The only thing I cared about was the fact that every time I heard that song, it reminded me that I had to go to fucking morning math class or fucking history or play football. It's freaking bullshit. Wake me up when Green Day sucks. Oh, it already done. No, it's fine. Bro, I just got on the stream after 5 trillion ads. Well, welcome. You just paid. Imagine, yeah, you're just like stuck in a perpetual. It only feels like a second, but you've been in there for like 10,000 years of just watching ads. I always thought like a YouTube channel that's like a 24-hour stream, or even just like a TV channel where all they do is just play ads all day. And for some reason, I could just see it becoming like a gimmick that people love watching that channel, where it's just the ad channel. Live at a drive-in theater, that's cool. Touring and being like a entertainment person just seems so rough. Do you have any other fave Green Day songs? Not really. I really didn't like the American Idiot song. I thought it was so fucking stupid. Just because, like, I kind of understood the idea where it's like, you know, being an American is sort of just being like a consumer, whatever. And it's more of a commentary, I feel like, on Hollywood or like our, you know, corporate system or something, as opposed to like commentary on the person. But even as like a younger person, I just felt like it didn't sound good, you know. And it was always on like, it was in Madden. Do you remember like the Madden games? I think it was on like a Madden game, and just hearing it every time, I'm like, Jesus Christ, skip this shit. Don't wanna be an American idiot.
Mischievous dog.
Everybody except Americans are the best. Americans freaking suck and they stink.
Mischievous
Everybody that's not
dog.
American is so cool. We're so fucking cool, we're different. Everything that's not America is so freaking cool. It has nothing to do with the individual. Don't judge people based on who they are, but you can judge them based if they're in America. Shut up.
Mischievous dog.
I saw Northern Lights in Wisconsin sky for the first time tonight. That's wild.
Mischievous dog.
So today, as I was going for a coffee, I decided to check out a new cafe that just opened. As I go near the door, I'm surprised and happy to see an ex-girlfriend of mine from when I was Oh. Wait, did I already... Oh, no. Whoops. Oh, yeah, I already did that one. Sorry. Sorry about that. Yeah, Sublime was... Which one? What songs did Sublime make? That sounds so familiar. Summertime and the living's easy. Whip dip shibba did dop deep dee. Do you guys remember like the Dave Mira BMX game? That one had some pretty sweet fucking tunes. When we whip that little whip, I my hands are evil, you're not gonna find the evil was definitely forever. Last night, I awoke to the unsettling noise of loud banging and my dog's frantic barking. Living alone with my girlfriend, we had grown accustomed to our neighbors' domestic disputes, and I have to call the police often. I stumbled to the bathroom, as the walls there are thin and separated our duplex from theirs. As I approached the bathroom door, the entire, damn it. The attention growing As I approached the bathroom door, the entire house was dark, and a tall shadow was in my bathroom. I wasn't wearing my glasses, and I'm an incredibly nearsighted person, so I struggled to discern whether the shadow was merely the shadow curtain or what it was. And then the shadow spoke. I don't know what he said, but the gut-wrenching panic that I felt is still fresh in my mind. I screamed and fled to the bedroom, slamming the door behind me. My girlfriend, now awake and terrified, joined me as I dialed the police. They instructed me to lock the door, but my bedroom doesn't have one. With the banging growing louder and more aggressive, I braced myself against the door, praying that help would arrive in time. To my relief, the police arrived swiftly in only 5 minutes, and when I finally emerged from the bathroom, I found that they had dragged him, naked, from the bathtub because he had been trying to shower. They were questioning him on my couch while he was handcuffed, and he was incredibly drunk and had wandered into the wrong house. The one night that we forgot to lock the doors. Alright, we're getting close. God damn. I think we got... Oh yeah, this reminds me, I gotta go take... It's actually not as late as I thought it was gonna be, but I gotta go take my magnesium, so I'll be right back, guys. We'll finish these last 2 stories. It's pretty funny. So, like, I went upstairs, but I, like, closed the door to the garage. I didn't think Pradeep was out there. Thought he was upstairs. And I went and did my thing, but I couldn't find him, so I was like, where is he? And I opened up the door of the garage, and he just, like, just fucking, like, teleported in, like, phew. He's never had that happen to him before, being locked out. It's pretty funny. He is an indoor cat, but the garage is kind of like this, like, mysterious place that he can explore, and it's dark. He's the real Slim Shady. Oh, man. A place of absolute wonder. Hey, Audrey, what's up? What's poppin'? Heard the lifespan of an outdoor cat is only 3 years. That's not very long at all. It's definitely, maybe it's decreased by 3 years or something. Alright, we got 2 more stories, y'all. They're kind of quick ones, so prepare yourself. There is this street dog near my college campus that I see every day. It is one of the older dogs, so it's always sleeping and very calm in general. I live very near to the college, and my friend and me usually go for a walk late at night after dinner. Tonight was no different, and we were walking around the same route. It's a residential area, so we had never felt unsafe since there was always college students or other families out on the road walking around. We were on our 3rd lap, and this dog was sitting at its usual spot. While we were walking past it, I was gushing about how cute it is and was clearly distracted. Suddenly my friend said that there was a weird car behind us. I turned around to see that there was in fact a car driving at a really slow speed. The car pivoted towards us, which made me think that maybe it wanted to park where we were walking and might just be a random family. As I was about to convey these assumptions to my friend, we hear a dog barking and turn around to see it chasing after this car. Both me and my friend are scared of dogs, so she stood behind me, hoping that I would save her, but right when I turned around, it was the same street dog, and I knew right away that it wouldn't harm us. The car suddenly sped past us, and the dog didn't chase us or anything. Instead, it just kind of stood on guard. When we recovered from the shock, we both had the same realization that the dog might have just saved us. We still don't know if this car had any evil intentions, but the way it sped right when the dog started barking, the timing of it all was just too bizarre. Plus, it was driving so slow that both of us didn't even realize it until it was too close. Needless to say, the dog will be getting some extra pets from me every time I see it. Needless to say, the dog will be taken to the glue factory tomorrow. Oh, shit. Alright. Have I tried Feastables? I have not, no. I see it sometimes at the gas station. I do kind of want to try it. Feastables gave me diarrhea. Feastables, that'd be funny if that was actually the big issue, was that Feastables was made with actual children. Like the Mexican factories that they make them in, like over 200 kids fall into the pit, like the mixing pot every day. MrBeast knew about this, I believe. MrBeast knew about this made-up situation in my head. Even if I'm wrong, the fact that I know that MrBeast knew about it, psychically, through my mind, that sounds like something he should be yelled at about online. MrBeast? More like Mr. Skibbadeast. Toilet. New formula is pretty good? Okay. Have you tried the Shack gummies? 3 of them are like 150 calories. Really? Are they like weed or what is it? Video games keep men children. I guess so. It might be true. Forever little boy. Element, how are you going to fix us? How are you going to fix men? What about girls? Can girls be kept children? They've got to be kids too, right? Because they like the same games. They play fucking Fortnite all the time. I see them. I yell at them online in the lobbies. They're just really big gummies. Okay, interesting. But yeah, they should make some prime, chicken soup flavored. Girls play Sims. That's true. Girls playing Sims is keeping them from growing up and going to war like a real man. The only true people in society are ones that have fought in the wars. They've earned it. Diaper discipline. Women need to be taught diaper discipline. They can't just play Sims all day and shit their pants. I had just parked at the local trail that I often visit when, about 30 seconds later, an older man parked next to me. He started leaning over as if to ask for directions, and I rolled down my window, and he kept trying to peer into my car. Sensing something odd but dismissing it initially, I asked if he needed anything. He mentioned he was there for a walk and continued to glance inside my car. He then asked if I wanted company for my walk. I usually go on walks to be alone with my thoughts, so I wasn't interested, especially given his strange behavior. I politely declined and got out of my car. Despite this, he followed me and invaded my personal space, making me uncomfortable with his intense staring and proximity. Although I'm a tall man and wasn't feeling physically threatened, his behavior was very disconcerting. After walking together briefly, I excused myself, saying that I needed to use the restroom, and started walking faster to create distance. When he tried to keep up, I told him that I'd catch up later and quickly left the area, feeling uneasy. I feel a bit guilty, thinking that he might just be a lonely old man, but I believe I did the right thing. Normally, I'm not uneasy around others, but something about this interaction just felt off. Women want more Sephora Rogue sales. Sephora has gone rogue. They just started selling. What they should do at Sephora is just have like a big giant vat in the middle of the store that's got all the makeup and all the products and all the stuff just mixed into a big goop. And girls can just take the goop and smear it on their face and leave the store. It's $60 to walk in, and you have to use the goop. If you don't, why did you even come in? Get out of here. All right, let's read this. We're done, guys. We're actually done. Google? Am I going to Google? Have you guys ever been to google.com? It's kind of cool. I think that you're saying that's what happens in Sephora. Everybody just walks in and grabs a handful, smears it on their face, and it's good to go. Like, what's the point? You should be able to come in, do some sort of smear that does both a face wash, a makeup application, and a makeup removal all in one go. Yeah, Google just added a website, I think. You need to go to Sephora and try the goop. What's the male equivalent of Sephora goop? I think it's the cookie game. Every guy should be playing the cookie game to be a real man. No more video games, just cookie game with the fellas. I'm being real conservative with this one. Alright guys, think of an outro that's funny. If anybody says anything in chat that's not funny, I don't even want to think of the consequences. Hey friends, thanks for listening. Click that notification bell to be alerted of all future narrations. I release new videos every Monday and Thursday at 7 p.m. EST, and there are super fun live streams on Sundays and Wednesday nights. If you got a story, be sure to submit them to my email, letsreadsubmissions@gmail.com, and you might even hear your story featured on the next video. If you want to support me even more, grab early access to all future narrations and bonus content over on Patreon, or click that big join button to hear about the extra perks offered for members of the channel. And check out the Let's Read podcast, where you can hear all about these stories and big compilations located anywhere you listen to podcasts. All links in the description below. Thanks so much, friends. Me and Kamala Harris just finished 3 bottles of red wine, and we are ready to run the show. Let's go. How many zombies can rob zombie if Rob Zombie could rob zombies? Holy shit. Dude, did you guys see Blackout? What was it? Call of Duty Black Ops 6 Zombies mode? Oh my god. Looking pretty decent. Not that exciting though. Want to see my goop? Yeah, that's a good idea. Okay. Thanks so much, friends. And remember, I just went to Sephora. Wait, no, that's not right. Thanks so much, friends. And remember, go to Sephora and try the goop. Not into video games? What are you, an adult? You like things like books? Yeah, I know. I love how people are like, video games are keeping men childish. But then they're like, well, what do men do? And they're like, proceed to drink and watch Netflix and NASCAR and shit. Am I going to play Black Ops 6? Honestly, I probably won't, but it is nice. It is nice or slightly reassuring when there's like a major upgrade in that series, just to know that they're actually trying, or like that the numbers were bad last time or something, so they're motivated to actually make it better, you know? Well, guys, thanks for hanging out. Alabama man. Thanks for hanging. Nice little stream we got going on here. I'll be back again Wednesday evening for another one. Hopefully I won't start as late. I feel like I was negative at one point during the stream. I apologize for that. I'm good now. My emotions are back to even keel. I was on my period for 15 seconds. It was rough. I can finally empathize with the ladies. What language do deaf people think in? Probably just like karate chops. But yeah. Yeah, stick around, you know. New video. Gonna get it up on Patreon first. It's only $1 a month over there for early access, but you can do a little fucking free trial, man. Holy cow. Oh my god, everyone's gonna shit their pants when they get the free trial. But yeah, I'll be back Wednesday. Follow me on Twitter at Let's Read. Follow me on Instagram at letsread.official. And I shall, I guess, yeah, see you when the YouTube video's out. It's going to be freaking sick. Also, what day is it? Oh, yeah. Yeah, new podcast every Tuesday. We are up in the game over there, baby. You know the deal. All right, well, here, you know, before I go, anybody want to say anything cool? Anybody got any questions? Or I'm not quite ready to get off quite yet. Getting kicked in the balls or having demonic period experience. Probably kicked in the balls would be better, because like I don't want shit inside of me, you know. I'm gonna rewind the whole stream. Just get off. Don't tell me what to do. I go to college in a week. Any advice? There's gonna be weird mixes of like, some things are gonna feel easier, and the fact that maybe you only have English class like Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays or something. and math, you might only have like Tuesdays and Thursdays. And you're like, whoa, I only have to, which is going to be cool. But just like try your best, you know what I mean? Try your best in classes. You might actually find that you're like actually enjoy writing now or something. But then also don't be afraid to like put yourself out there socially to try new things with people, like not in like a weird way, but just have fun. You know what I mean? There's going to be a lot of fun sort of social dynamics available to you. You know, don't be afraid to just go make friends, even if it's not quite in your comfort zone or whatever, and just try your best to take advantage of all like the little things, whether it's like groups or clubs or exercise or whatever the fuck's available, and just build those sort of routines that you can take into the future with you that will benefit you. And you know, try not to get like, if you do drink or what, I know people in college drink and stuff and do that, you know, try not to develop a habit with that too much, because it can really interfere with your success there, and it can also create like addiction. Even like smoking too much can kind of like throw off your chi. What was the magnesium for again? If you aren't Google, but I just like you. Oh, no worries. The magnesium I used was called like Gorilla Mind. It's on Amazon. I've been using it. It just seems to work. It's got like really low dose of melatonin in it too, so it doesn't really like interfere with your, I guess, hormonal production of melatonin, but it sort of just prompts your body to start producing more. Do more weird dating stories for the show. Smoke weed every day. Yeah, and don't let Chat GPT get you in trouble in college, because I hear that's like kind of an issue now. People just want to use that to bypass stuff. Classic Mike Cade, my man. Welcome. Oh no, I rather thank you for the 5 gifters to Vixa, Lovelight D, Mary Toomey, Self Help Yourself, Riley Marshall. Thank you, Classic Mike. Good to see you. Girth or length? Shit, I don't know. It's up to you. Personal preference. But yeah. Yeah, you guys rock. Thanks for hanging out. I'll catch you in the next one. Might do, depending on how this video does, we might do some more true scary Japanese stories. But yeah, if you want to check out the old streams, there's a playlist as well as a tab on YouTube to check out the old streamers. If you want to go deep into the lore. Don't wanna be an American. Man, if there's ever someone who I want to tell me how to think and live, it's a musician. It's someone who spends their entire existence touring around drinking and doing drugs and having promiscuous sex. Please tell me all about society and my shortcomings as a nationality. Alright, yeah, I want to be a French idiot. That sounds way better. Alright, guys. I'm out of here. I'm on my way. I got nothing else good to say. I never did. But you guys rock. Goodbye.